We interrupt this program with a special report.
I got a message for all you folks out there in Radio Land. So sit tight and bend an ear.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Manga Monday Show. My name is Edgar. Joined by me is
Ben.
We are here with One Piece.
Ben.
I was wanting to sing. I was like, should I just sing the song, like just to do the intro?
Yeah,
but we might get copyrighted.
Oh,
we are back with One
going
Piece.
to get copyrighted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that 1 second where you sang like the correct notes for that one song, we're gonna copyright the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
Please don't.
They're, they're Toei Animation or have their finger on the trigger. For getting ready.
Boss, this 56 subscriber YouTube channel is like doing something bad. Let's take them down.
Yeah, exactly.
But we are back with One Piece. This is just an entire One Piece episode.
Special episode.
Yeah, special episode. For those who are watching on the YouTube channel for the Shonen Junk segments, Ben will be breaking down these each arc in its own video. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, we're going to have it a whole, just like we're going to break down the entire saga, the Alabasta Saga, for you today. But before we get into that, we're just going to touch up on some things that we missed, specifically me, because for those of you who don't know, I'm the main one who is going into this like 100% new, who's reviewing, reading and reviewing this entire series like from a first, from the first get-go. Ben is here, an experienced One Piece aficionado.
Yes, aficionado.
Yeah.
I have 30 of the volumes, so there you go.
That's like $300.
Yes, it is. I was able to get some of them cheaply, so that was good.
It's never good to it's always like fun buying like mangas until you look at your manga shelf like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's like
$1,000.
That's like probably $1,000.
But it's still just looking up at it and seeing like, especially ones that have like cool backdrops like Vagabond and stuff like that. It's really cool to look at. But yeah, once again, like Edgar said, if you're interested in seeing a highly edited video, I think I get better at the editing every single time. Head down and the description for that entire playlist is there. So as of right now, we have the first 3 arcs in the Romance Dawn saga out for you. So check that out. Or is it called the East Blue Saga? It's the East Blue Saga. Romance Dawn's the first arc.
Yeah.
So yeah, just check that out and go down below. Edgar, we got a couple things that we've missed. I've as I've been editing the episodes, I've been like kind of reading the manga because I take some manga panels and I put them on there and I'm like
we didn't mention Luffy once.
Yeah, exactly. I mean we don't talk about him a lot. But there's a couple of things in there and a couple of things that I'm like, oh,
well, I don't blame us because one, it's been like you're like way ahead of me.
Yes,
and two, I'm so forgetful even on current stuff
but
that
also,
I read.
Especially the more earlier arcs, you read a while ago because it didn't take you. It took you a while to.
Yeah, those first 25 chapters I read like in the beginning of like February, and then I stopped, and then like in May or June I picked it up again, and like those first 25 or 30 chapters, like I completely like very distant memory.
Yeah, so we got a couple of things, and I won't say whether this is important to the story or not, because last time I did kind of give Edgar hints on what was important.
Yeah,
and
it's
what
not
to
your
take
fault.
Notice of.
I just like I just want to. I'm at the point to where I like kind of care if I get spoiled or not.
Yeah,
I really want to go into this like blind, so I want the full experience. Hopefully the things that I have been spoiled on still hit me like the same way as most people did.
I know there's one part in One Piece that is spoiled for you, and we won't say. Just in case
I'm gonna name at the very end of this journey, not the end, but once I get caught up, I want to name like the 5 things that I were spoiled on, and then touch up on them and see if they hit different, or if
Yeah.
they just completely ruin the experience.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, yeah. All right, Edgar, the first thing I want to talk about is your favorite person in the world, Buggy the Clown. Yay!
Oh,
We all
no.
love Buggy.
Boo.
Buggy.
Brother,
Buggy.
this guy stinks.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on him.
Yeah, oh, right. If you didn't know, go watch our previous edited videos. Edgar, I did a whole bunch of editing stuff where like
He,
I
like,
basically-
trashes on me.
Yeah, I basically made the whole crowd hate him because everybody loves Buggy. But Edgar hasn't, Edgar didn't like him at the first.
No.
But yeah, so Buggy, he talks about Shanks, and we didn't really talk about it. That him and Shanks were on the same crew.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know who was the crew that they were with. Was
No,
it
we don't know.
important?
We don't.
Oh,
know.
we just don't know.
So yeah, it was just a pirate
Okay.
crew. And Shanks made him eat the fruit, the chop fruit. So he didn't even want to get,
Wow.
he didn't even
Called
want.
no consent.
Yeah,
It's
well,
canceled.
He didn't make
bro.
him eat it. I think he said if you eat this fruit, it'll lead you to or no, it was something like he had a treasure map and then he like had the fruit and he was like, "What's this?" And then he like bumped into him and he like ate it or something. And he was like, and Shanks was like laughing and stuff. So it looks like Shanks was like very similar to Luffy when he was a kid. He was like laughing and stuff, and while Buggy was like cursing his name, and Buggy said that he hates Shanks and stuff.
He
It was
said this,
great.
or was this like shown in some flashback or something?
It was he said this. It was shown in a flashback because
I do not remember this.
Yeah, because
at all.
he tells him, he says that's Shanks's hat. And Buggy's like,
Oh.
and Buggy's like, I hate Shanks, and then like the thought bubble like waves happen. It's like,
Okay, so-
and it has like a nice little flashback with him and Shanks, which is very nice.
Very cool.
Um,
Very cool.
So yeah, they were in the same crew. That's something that we missed. Another thing that we missed, going all the way back to the first chapter. What did you think about just Shanks in general? I feel like we didn't touch on him enough.
Yeah, we mentioned him
you
like
know.
very briefly.
Well, I'm interested to think, what do you think he's doing there? Why does he have the Gumu Gumu no Mi, the fruit, that Luffy eats?
Was he planning
you
on
know.
eating it? I don't know.
We don't know.
Up until this, I don't know if Shanks has a fruit, a devil fruit power.
Mhm.
I don't know what he planned to do with it. I don't know how important each. I don't know if in this world they know all, or they have like a list of devil fruits.
Yeah.
And if they have them ranked already, like in terms of power system, so maybe they knew what this one was gonna be, or what the potential of this one be. Maybe this is the best one, or maybe this one's like the most interesting one, or maybe they plan to sell it or take it. I don't know if Shanks was gonna eat it if he hasn't already. I don't know if he can eat more than one devil fruit. That hasn't been specified to me, or at least I simply just don't remember if they did.
Yeah.
But I have like no knowledge, or I have no clue what he's doing with it.
Yeah.
But that sucks that Luffy had to ruin his plans. But he seemed all right with it. I mean, he's like,
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to swim anymore, buddy. And then Luffy's like, what?
And Luffy's like, it's so funny because Luffy's like, oh, I've been practicing, and Shanks is
that-
like, no.
Yeah, all those days of practicing out the door.
out the window.
Yeah.
Also, what do you think about the mountain bandits? That nice little first confrontation between the pirates and the bandits, just really setting up who the real powerhouses in the One Piece world is. It's not bandits. It's it's
Pirates.
the pirates.
Yep.
Um,
On land, get out of here. It's
Yeah,
it's about
exactly.
the seas.
Yeah.
No land lovers. Yeah, I don't remember what they look like. I just remembered that that Shanks had a confrontation and that they were kind of like messing with them. And then I think if I remember correctly, Shanks didn't do anything, and knowing that he could have definitely like messed them up. Like, and
Yes.
is that what happens if I recall correctly?
Yeah, Shanks kind of destroys him. I think it's Shanks doesn't do anything, but I think his crew, like Lucky Roo, who is the bigger guy who's always eating like a chicken leg, he shot him in the head and stuff. And Ben Beckman, who's one of my favorite characters, he doesn't do, like, he just shoots him and stuff like that. So yeah.
No. Okay. Well, yeah, interesting. Yeah, but we, the red-haired pirates, they seem pretty chill, and Shanks, seems like a like a good guy.
Yeah.
Does he what? I'm looking at the wiki at the review of this arc. Shank loses his arm. Does that happen during this arc, or
Yes,
does it just
this
show in a
happens-
flashback?
So this happens during this arc when Shanks is right, because the leader of the bandits gets away, and he takes Luffy with him, and he goes on a rowboat, and then Shanks catches up to him, but the rowboat is destroyed, and Shanks is protecting Luffy in the water, and a shark comes, and a shark eats his arm, and Shanks goes, get out of here, and he like looks at him very fiercely, and the shark like in fear goes away, and we don't know why that is. We don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he doesn't have a. That means he doesn't have a fruit then, right? Because he's in the water and he's not drowning.
Yeah, because he can swim. I guess that's right.
So
yeah.
he doesn't have one, at least up
Yeah.
until this point.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, I completely forgot. Now that you mention it, if he doesn't have an arm, what does he have instead? I don't think, because I remember we see like Shanks for like a brief moment afterwards. I just don't remember like what his arm looks like. I can look it up probably, but I don't want to get spoiled.
I mean, in
Is
that
it a wooden
moment-
arm or is it like a metal arm?
He just doesn't have. It's like he has a cape over it, and we don't see what's under there. So yeah.
So it might be nothing, or it might be something.
Yeah, it might
so
be
we
something.
don't-
Might be nothing. We don't know. We don't know. I wanted
Yeah.
to talk real quick about Arlong's crew. I feel like we didn't talk about Arlong
fishman?
enough. Yeah, the fishman, who is in reality, like we talk about Buggy. Arlong is the first memorable bad guy in One Piece, right? He's always up there in top 5 villains. He's really what
Yeah.
introduced, kind of the bad guys
Yeah.
in One Piece.
Not just because of how evil he is, but because it's like, well, at least they say that fishmen are naturally stronger than regular humans.
Yes.
Like from like the base level. So like already, without any, I don't know if they can eat devil fruits. Did Arlong have a devil fruit?
Arlong
No.
does not have a
He was
devil
just
fruit,
a
no.
super strong. He was like the strongest of the bunch, but already like a regular fishman are super strong, and like they can breathe underwater, right? Obviously.
Yeah, they can obviously breathe underwater.
Yeah, so that makes them like super strong and durable and like perfect for the ocean, and like
Yeah.
and he was just pure evil, so that just makes him like super memorable.
Yeah,
And his
yeah.
design with like the swordfish type, not a swordfish, it was a jagged nose. It was like
it was like a saw.
yeah, there you go. So it was like a sword, not a swordfish. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I
I
get
saw
you, I
a
get
saw
you.
nosed,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about real quick. There is a little bit of talks in this arc, and we didn't talk about it. Why Arlong is, he's basically. We didn't talk too much about Belmare, and
Who's that?
who I think that's. I always get them mixed up. I think that's Nami's sister. No, that's Nami's mom, and then Nami's sister, the blue-haired chick. I forgot her name.
The adoptive mother, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the stepsister, kind of.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And we get into a peek of why Arlong, why he does this. He talks about it really, really short, but in a couple of panels, he talks about Luffy's like, why are you doing this? And he talks about how humans are basically racists to fish people, and he says, this is why we're taking them over. And I just wanted to talk about real quick, just that village just got destroyed constantly. And
Yeah, they're getting pillaged and ravaged and like constantly by them.
And a big part of when we talked about Nami, big part of her character development is to free that village, from her debt. So just talk to us about that a little bit, about what you thought about the Arlong saga, just a little bit more about the villain and
Other than, I didn't think much of it other than like how evil he was. He's such an awful person, and everything he did felt personal. I didn't really get the sense that, again, because I don't remember him mentioning that fishmen were or like frowned upon or like experience that kind of like oppression from humans. I didn't get that at all, especially when they're the ones that are oppressing clearly.
Yeah, well,
humans.
he is the he is the first fishman that we see in the series, and he's pretty intimidating. So like I wouldn't think that we've seen that yet. Yeah.
And I didn't get that at all. I just thought, man, these guys suck and they should die. So I didn't really get that at all. So
No,
I just thought
definitely.
these guys were awful.
Definitely. Nami's tattoo. I feel like we didn't talk about that enough.
Yeah, how she tries to cut it off.
Yeah,
Does
she
she
tries
cut
to-
it off or does she change it or something?
She That's a good question.
She
I don't
stabs
remember
at
that.
it.
She
Luffy tells her to
stabs at
stop,
it,
but
and it looks different afterwards.
yeah,
but I
so
don't
maybe she
know.
changes it.
Yeah.
Maybe that changes it.
Maybe
but,
that her stabbing it enough changes it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I remember her stabbing it because she just hated it because she, she was working for them and she no longer wanted to be a part of it. I assume she changed it because she clearly, did something to do it. But that arc was really good and probably arguably the best arc in that saga.
Definitely.
But I secretly, prefer the Low Town.
Low Town was
just
great.
because of the lore that it had. It had like great world building exposition.
Yeah.
And just give you hints of like
and it
what's
has
to come.
chapter 100 is such a big moment. I just wanted to talk real quick about one of the crew members on Arlong in the Arlong Pirates, Hachan. He has one of the best fights, I would say, in the East Blue Saga with Zoro.
All I remember about him and Zoro is that Zoro tricked him into
yeah, Zoro did trick him.
Yeah.
Zoro did trick him, but they also have a fight where he uses his 3-sword style and he uses like his 6-sword style where he has like because he has 6 arms, yeah,
I don't remember that much.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I have been seeing him in the cover panels recently when I was reading Alabasta.
Yeah.
He's like with this mermaid or something and he's like traveling through the sea
yeah.
floor. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I can't really remember much. I don't know how much I need to pay attention to those cover panels but I do kind of
pay attention to them a little bit.
Alrighty, because
you don't need to know who they are, who those people are. Just pay attention to them so that if they show up again later, you can go, oh hey,
Okay.
Yeah. So don't.
Yeah, but I remember seeing him a bit like with some mermaid on the seafloor. Yeah, but that was nice. That arc was pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to touch on?
Just one more thing. What'd you think about Moo?
Oh yeah, I like Moo.
I
felt bad when I think Luffy or someone punched him or something, and then like, oh, wait till Moo messes you up, Arlong, and then like Moo's like scared of like Luffy,
Luffy, and oh yeah, because they already had like an interaction before, and Luffy like punched him and he ran away, and he was like Moo, and Moo comes up and he's like, oh god, and he runs away. It's so great. I love Moo.
Is Moo what is he, like a sea king, or what is he? Or is he just a...
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think he's just a sea beast.
Alrighty. Because sea kings are mentioned like in the Alabasta Saga later, but I was wondering, like, was he one of the... But he's not nearly as big as the regular ones,
No. He is
I guess
not.
he's just a regular, thing.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Definitely not. Just a real quick... We talked about Loketown so much, but just to talk about a little bit about the lightning, right? That hits Luffy. You know what we're talking about? That's
when he almost
dies,
but that brings him back to life.
Yeah, well, he doesn't bring him back to life because he never gets his head chopped off. But the lightning comes
it saves
down
him.
and it saves him.
Okay.
But we didn't talk about Luffy basically looking death in the eye and just being like, well, I guess I die,
Wasn't he laughing?
Yeah, he was smiling at everyone.
Yeah, and that kind of reminded everyone of
Goldie Roger.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It's great. It's great. That's
a good parallel.
Yeah, that's where Loketown was, where the pirate era started, with Goldie Roger saying, the One Piece is out there and it's real.
I don't know much about the future for Luffy and the gang, but little do the people of Lowtown know that they just like experience like a great moment, unbeknownst to them. I would assume.
No, definitely.
But that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Edgar, why don't you lead us in to our main topic?
The Alabasta Saga, or the Arabasta Saga?
Arabasta.
Which one is it? Like,
it's in Japanese, they say Alabasta, with an R, but in our tongue, it's like they say their R's like L's. So we say, so it's they say Roronoro Zoro, but we call it like in the translation it's Zolo.
See, that's funny. I'm like, Zolo? That's stupid. It's Zoro.
Yeah, it's Zoro.
But with this one, I'm like, it's Alabasta, not Arabasta.
Because it's obviously, the name is obviously based on Alabama. Like there's no...
Is it? Really?
Yes. There's no way he's naming Alabasta not like Alabama,
I would have never thought that.
Well, I don't think any of the terrain is the same, but I think he just heard the name Alabama and went, I'm just gonna put an ST.
When are we
in
gonna
there,
get a Texas in One Piece?
Yeah,
Like, at some
exactly.
point.
Well, I mean, with how hot it is right now.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Desert.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, Alabasta. And how do we kick that? The Alabasta saga. We kick it off with the reverse mountain arc.
Oh yeah.
So the goal is to get to the Grand Line.
Yeah. Where did we leave off in the last arc, Edgar?
Well, they leave, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not much.
Yeah.
I don't
Basically,
remember
they just got out of Logtown and
they head
towards the Grand Line,
Yeah.
which is the big
an ocean, right?
It's not it's kind of an ocean. It's like this is the world. For the editing portion of this, I'm putting a map up. There's the world, and then there's the East Blue, the south, the North Blue, the South Blue, the East Blue, the West Blue, and then in the middle of all of those,
Oh, it's like an
there's
equator.
yeah, it's kind of like the equator. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not like an ocean, but it's like, I don't know how you would call that in geography terms.
Yeah, but they call it. They kind of say like
It's a
the
big part of the
sea.
ocean.
Yeah, it's a big part of the ocean. That's just this big line that's circulating the entirety of the, of the world.
Yeah.
And to get over and to get into it, they have to go through some trials and tribulations first.
Yeah. So and Nami eventually points out that they have to go to the reverse mountain to get to the Grand Line.
Yes.
Essentially, is that the only way can you just go the opposite way around, or is that not the way to go through
I
it?
do think you can do that, but I think
This is the quicker way to start out.
I think this is the quicker way, and I also think Luffy is more interested in the adventures that this has,
All right.
rather than that. So yeah.
Yeah. So.
So
yeah. Zoro's like, why can't we just go south? But apparently they can't.
Yeah, they can't.
And suddenly they run into the calm belt because the storm. They run into a storm and then it stops.
Yeah,
The
and-
calm belt
yeah.
seemed pretty scary because no winds, no currents.
Yes.
And a bunch of like sea monsters are like all around over
Yeah,
there.
no, definitely.
They're just crazy.
It's definitely like the eye of the storm, during a hurricane.
It seems nice until like the Sea Kings come up because this is the first time that they're mentioned.
Yes.
They try to row back to the storm, and the Sea Kings, begin to rise up, and they're
Yeah.
basically huge like sea monsters. I guess they're the ones that they show like in the first opening of One Piece.
Yeah.
Those giant like things.
Yeah.
One looks like a cow. One looks like a bird, but it has like a fluffy neck or something like
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
I guess those are Sea Kings.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Like they're just like like fish hybrid animals,
Yeah. So
But yeah, so they go up the reverse mountain. And what do you think about Reverse Mountain? Like the
It just seems wacky.
The
It feels
geography of it is screwed because they're
curve.
going up and they're
like it
it's
seemed
absurd.
like no way this would be real, but it just seemed like wacky enough. So like, okay, this is it's fun.
No,
It's like a big old
definitely.
water slide. So they get there and then they come rushing. I think they go
Yeah.
like it goes up and then like they kind of leave like the water for a second
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
sky.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm out. No way. Like that's like way too dangerous. It's like
Yeah.
Splash Mountain, but like way
Yeah.
worse.
And it's crazy because they lost like all control because the rudder breaks and they're like
Yeah.
they're just it's like they're going down Splash Mountain, but they could die.
yeah.
I'm still convinced you can die in Splash Mountain. But,
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but they're coming down, and they run into like some giant whale.
yeah.
Laboon.
Laboon,
Yeah, it's like in the way, and then let's see what happened. I think it eats them immediately. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
So the Mary runs into Laboon, and Luffy punches Laboon's eye.
Yeah, it breaks the masthead. There you go.
Yeah, he's basically trying to like punch him. But yeah.
Yeah, basically it swallows the
but
going-
it does swallow him.
Going Mary.
Yeah.
And then Luffy doesn't get swallowed, but eventually he goes in there.
Yes.
And then I think this at first, like when I read this, I'm like, what the heck? There's like an island inside Laboon with the sky.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
But Laboon is huge,
Yeah, it is.
just
He is
ginormous.
Yeah.
But so the reasoning behind that is, and you read it more recently than me, but I believe that the people of Alabasta has been experimenting on Laboon, and they have
because there's like metal inside him or something.
Yeah, there
like
is
that.
metal, and there's some stuff in there. And of course, this is also the arc that we get introduced to people like Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday.
Yeah. I believe they run into Crocus or Crocus.
Yes, Crocus as well.
Crocus first.
Very
He's-
mysterious man, you know.
Yeah.
Just a
he
dude
seemed-
with sandals and a newspaper.
Yeah, he seemed nice though.
Yeah.
He said he was looking after Laboon.
Yeah.
Luffy eventually runs into Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday trying to save, the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
I think they reveal that they're trying to kill the whale to feed their village or
Yes.
island or something like that.
Mhm.
So they didn't come off as even though Laboon it ate swallowed the ship. It's just from our perspective, it's just an animal, and we think whales is like nice creatures like in the real
Yeah.
world. So we don't. It's not a good look for Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday. So they already kind of seem like antagonistic, and they kind of seem like jerks. And I think they try attacking Luffy or something like that, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
they like try to shoot Laboon, and then
Yeah.
then Luffy just kind of beats him up. They're not really this arc isn't really like the arc that has like villains in it. Like
Yeah.
they're kind of more like the Pilaf gang,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Dragon Ball.
So Laboon begins ramming his head into like the reverse, the mountain,
Yes, but
and then
he
like,
has-
whoa, it's shaking, like inside. Like,
yeah, and it's all it's all messed up, but inside, they Crocus basically, they're like, why is he ramming his head on his wall? He's got a big scar on Laboon, has like this ginormous scar, and Crocus basically says that Laboon came to the Red Line, or to the Grand Line, sorry, to the Grand Line with a pirate crew.
Yeah.
And he's been waiting 50 years.
Yeah, they left them. They said
Yeah.
they returned, but
Yeah.
50
Really-
years.
Really
and they,
sad, right?
Yeah, they're like those
Yeah.
pirates like suck. Like
Yeah.
100. And I think what happens. I don't know if
Get
he
'em.
mentions. I don't know if he mentions them later or at this first time moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, eventually they leave. I think they exit the whale one way, and then he
Yes,
tells
they
them.
do.
And then he tells them, "We're to we thought that he died, or I told Laboon that they died.
Yeah.
But apparently I heard somewhere that they left and they just never came back.
Yeah.
That sucks. That is like, and it was a moment I'm
Yeah.
like, man, it's like a Hachi, like the dog moment where he's just waiting for the
Yeah.
master to come back. That
Yeah,
sucks.
it
Like,
is. But I
already
mean,
got me feeling up.
you
Like,
also-
screw those pirates.
you also
How
have to-
dare you leave Laboon? Like, I'm already on this whale's side. I hope they died. Man, screw
but
you.
you also have to remember, and I think the reasoning was basically
couldn't bring
I don't
him-
think I don't think Crocus said. Crocus, I don't think said that he heard him. I think Crocus just assumed that they left because the Grand Line is so awful, Like he's
I
like,
don't care, man. How you gonna
Yeah.
leave Laboon like that? This poor
Yeah.
whale's like hitting his head, believing that is screw. I don't care who you are, man. They suck. But anyway, regardless, you know.
Well, actually, Crocus apparently told Laboon.
Yeah, he told him. He's like,
told
yeah, you
him,
should probably just
yeah.
give up because they just
and
left.
Laboon refused.
Yeah.
Like so, there
They would
has-
never
you
leave
know-
me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just.
That's
ooh.
I know. It made me sad. Like already off the start, we have such an emotional moment like with Laboon, which is really great. But eventually, Miss Nine and Mr. Wednesday get like knocked around, and
Yeah.
I think they have like they don't like Luffy and they don't like the Straw Hats. So like we're gonna come
They're
back.
like,
Like
we're gonna get you.
you suck.
someday.
And then eventually Crocus helps them out
Mhm.
and mentions that they have to get to the way to travel through the Grand Line is through a log pose is what
Log poses.
revealed.
Yeah.
How
You
they
like
wo-
those? You like those?
Yeah,
like
it's nice.
Nice little good
it
ways
just
to get to the next.
it just goes to
place.
show that traveling through the Grand Line is super difficult.
Yeah.
With if you don't have a log pose, you're screwed.
Yeah.
At least
And
from
it's
what we
a
know.
Good thing they found Laboon too.
Because the magnetic fields just throw everything around, and then the
Mhm.
storms constantly change.
Yeah.
So-
So there's no way to tell like a normal navigator like
Yeah.
Nami. There's no way to tell.
Regular compasses don't work.
Yeah.
And log poses lock onto the nearest island, and they just basically lock onto the nearest island, which is super helpful and super useful. And eventually, Luffy, upon like hearing like all this information with Laboon ramming his head
Mhm.
into the mountain, Luffy gets the mast of the Going Merry and then plunges it into one of the wounds of Laboon, and then and then they start like fighting. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like Luffy, and then Luffy like tells him like we're rivals now, next time we meet each other, and we will,
Yeah.
we're gonna fight every time we see each other, and that makes Laboon happy, and that's just like a real nice moment. And then Luffy like paints the symbol,
the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, like
that's what he calls it.
yeah. The symbol of the Jolly Roger, like the symbol of the Straw Hats, like of the flag, which is really nice, really cool.
nice.
And this makes Laboon happy, gives him something to look forward to, which is really pleasant to hear.
Yeah, that's great.
And he tells him not to bash his head on, and
Like, hey,
don't do
stop.
that. Don't be a dum dum.
Hey, why don't you not do that, please?
Yeah. So I guess the next island that they figure out that the next island they have to go to is Whiskey Peak. But before that happens,
before that happens, so the big things we get this arc are the Calm Belt, the Sea Kings and the Log Pose. These are
exposition stuff.
It's pretty much an exposition arc, but
it's nice. It's it has emotion in it with Laboon, so it's a nice moment.
There are some things with Crocus, like he tells them. He tells them about the location of the One Piece, right?
Really?
Yeah, he tells them that the One Piece is on this island called Laugh-Tail. And that's
Wait, so
what
he just
said.
reveals where it is? I just thought Laugh-Tail was the last island of the Grand Line.
It is. That's what he says. He says it's on he reveals the name of the island, but nobody knows where it really is, So Crocus just says, yeah, it's on Laugh-Tail. If you're looking for the One Piece, that's where it is,
That's where it is, or that's where it'll probably be.
That's where it'll probably be. That's what he said.
Because I don't remember him. I would have remembered if he said that's where the One Piece is. Because I don't remember that at all. I just remember him saying like the last island is Laugh-Tail of the Grand Line.
The location, and that's where the One Piece is. Everybody knows the One Piece is on the last island of.
So that's officially where it is. So why can't no one find it?
I don't know.
If that's the last island, so is it just that long to get?
Well, we know Goldie Roger found it. And he's the only one. That's why he's the Pirate King, But
so no one's made it over there. Is it just that difficult? Not even the seven, like no one.
I
thought it was.
I don't know. I can't say.
I just I didn't get this information. I guess I just missed it when I was reading it.
That's fine.
I figured. Really?
He just says like you could have guessed, Edgar, that the One Piece was on the final island, but he just reveals the name is Laugh-Tail.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I guess I super missed that. But anyway, Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday come back because some two like a weasel and like a bear, or a small bear. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah.
They're called the Unluckies, and they try to kill them. Because they I guess they fail or something like that. If I remember, I don't know why they try to kill them.
Who?
The Unluckies. The
Oh, is that those the two dudes?
Yeah, it's like this thing. It's like that thing, and it's like and then like the other one is like a bird or something like that.
Well, they go on. Don't they go?
Yeah,
on the
it's
ship?
like a vulture and like a bear.
Don't they go on the ship and then they're like, "We're from Whiskey Peak. Can you take us home?" And then they go to Whiskey Peak.
Something like that. And
Yeah.
they either way they failed, and
Yeah.
And then eventually, they go to the Straw Hats, like, yeah, can you please take us over there? And then like Zoro's like, no way, like, we don't owe you anything. And then Luffy's like, yeah, let's help him
Yeah,
out.
why not?
Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of this. The end of this arc.
Yeah.
It's like pretty short, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah, good arc, Edgar.
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Yeah.
The highlight of this arc was the Boone story, and like that was like the highlight of it.
Definitely.
Pretty emotional. The next arc. Whiskey Peak arc. It's a funny name.
Yeah.
And it's a funny looking island. It's like a bunch of green balls.
It's not green, but it's giant cactuses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just read it. Oh, yeah, it was cactuses. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
giant
remember.
green balls.
Yeah, that is not a.
That is not it.
Big old tennis balls. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they get to the island and they're welcomed pretty warmly. Like heroes.
Hey, party, baby! Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? I'm like, what did they do? And like the like the village leader, hey, welcome guys. Like, we're gonna give you a feast.
Welcome.
Which doesn't make any sense. I was already starting to smell something a bit fishy, bit sus.
Right.
Yeah, but they eat like a lot, and Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday like leave, and he says, hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And then we just don't see him.
This was really like where Luffy and Sanji like like their friendship is really starting to show here, and they're like yelling at each other about food and stuff like that. It's really great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then eventually everyone passes out, you
Yep.
know, falls asleep from drinking, eating, and like flirting.
Yeah, in Sanji's case.
Yeah.
Oh, and Usopp was trying to flirt,
He
and
did?
I think the person ended up being a man or something.
Oh, but
That sounds like something that would happen to
yeah.
Usopp.
yeah. So it eventually it is revealed that the village leader are bad guys, and they're known as Baroque's Works.
Yeah,
That's a weird
Baroque
Works.
Yes.
That's like a tongue twister. Baroque works Baroque's.
Works Baroque.
Baroque Works.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't know if I would ever name my company for something that like could be, you know, somebody could just call you Broke Works, like you're broke.
You broke.
Yeah, exactly. Was this?
If it ain't broke, it works.
Yeah. Was this like a? Well, how did you react to this, Edgar?
I figured they'd be bad, but it wasn't like, how could they? But they fed them. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but they fed them. Yeah,
I just thought, you know, who cares?
of course. And Zoro,
Zoro and
Zoro and
Nami.
Nami have, of course, caught on, the smartest people. You know.
Yeah, they really are the smartest people.
Well,
in the
they're not
group.
this. I would say Sanji is smart. I would just say he's blinded by specific things. You
Yeah,
know?
he was
like when it comes to
flirting,
women, he
yeah.
is blinded.
Yeah.
You know.
Nami is already kind of a distrustful person, like of the group. Not really, but you know, of the group, she like tends to like go with like she's a very like a selfish person in not the worst way, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's kind of who her character is, and Zoro is just always like good, has a good intuition.
Now, Edgar, when I first read One Piece back in my day,
Back in my
when
day,
I read One
50
Piece
years
like,
ago.
2 years ago, a year and a half ago, probably now.
Oh.
But I read this. This was the part that hooked me. And it took me a while. It took me about 2 months to get to this part, but I started reading
what
like
hooked
a
you?
madman.
Yeah.
This is when it started happening, and it started happening with Zoro versus the 100
Yeah, this fight-
assassins.
Yeah, this
Cool, right?
This the millions, right?
The millions, yes.
Yeah. So, but they're not with Baroque's work, right?
I think they're hired by Baroque Works.
Okay.
But yes.
Yeah, they're hired by
I think they were hired by Mr. 8 and Miss Sunday. Or no, Mr. whatever. and
Yeah,
Miss
so this
Sunday.
fight,
There's a
he
lot
like
of names.
cleans like this group up. He like fights
Yeah.
them pretty. It's a good fight. It's a really good
I
fight.
implore you, Edgar, to watch the anime. Like, it's really
Is it?
animated, and it's animated with like the old style. And in the Alabasta sagas, when the old style of One Piece just works so well,
Okay.
the comedy is at its peak, and it flows really nice. It's really great.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that he basically takes care of almost all the goons.
Yeah.
And leaves Mr. 8 and Mr. 9 and Miss Monday and Miss Wednesday to be dealt with. They're the actual Baroque Works, right? Like the actual
Yes,
members.
they are, and of course, yeah.
And basically, like, you know, like he attempts, you know, to fight him along with Miss Wednesday, who eventually brings up Karoo, a duck.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Like, this is like one of these characters or one of these animals that I see, and I just know you're gonna be loud in the anime.
Yeah.
Every
Did
time
you-
like I see him on the screen, I just imagine, well, not on the screen, but when I read the manga, I just imagine his voice like, "Wah!" like,
Yeah.
like I don't know how he sounds like an anime.
when you
but, like,
saw this character, because obviously we're doing the whole Alabasta saga, so he knows what happens. Did you think this character was going to have
Karoo?
not a big part, but do you think he was going to have he was going to be like a part of the Straw Hats like for the next 4 arcs?
It I mean, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
kinda. I just thought at first. I mean, spoiler alert, not spoiler. You're watching the review with us.
Yeah.
Miss Wednesday is Vivi. You know, the princess. The one person who's like watching this without
Yeah.
any.
which is fascinating because she's like quote unquote the villain in the last arc. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I thought they were just gonna be, you know, a villain to be, you know, taken care of. I thought that would be
Yeah.
like it. But you know, but as they're fighting, you know, as Zoro is fighting, you know, the other Baroque's work, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine show
Yeah.
up. And, you know, they're kind of disappointed.
You said Miss Wednesday is Vivi, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm like, there's so many Miss Mondays.
I know.
Miss
That's one thing
Wednesdays,
I
Miss
don't
Friday,
like. That
Miss
is
Sunday.
that is one thing I thought it was cool the way they named it. Like the guys are numbers, the girls are days
Yeah.
or holidays. But I don't like how many. That was like one thing I didn't like about Baroque's work.
and-
It was kind of confusing. And later on, as they start introducing more, like, oh, here's Mr. Like, it's too much. Like, I
and
can't
Oda,
remember.
Oda kind of drops it because, you know, Crocodile was Mr. Zero, and
That
they called
was
him
cool.
they called him Mr. Zero for a long time until Oda was like, I can't do this. He's Crocodile, and we're like, okay.
And that was
you know.
to be a reveal.
Yeah.
But like all these characters, he did try, and with a few of them, designs them pretty well, memorable. But with all the names, at some point he like introduces so many of them. I'm like, okay, you kind of lost me, and it was kind of a point where I was like, okay, let's just get this.
It would have been more. It would have been better if it was not numbers and not like weekdays, but like Miss Valentine, like like there was a Miss Valentine, and
and there always had to be two of them paired together. So every time one was introduced, another one had to be introduced, and I don't know. I get it. Like there's like a tier, like a tier hierarchy of levels. Like the closer number it is, like the better they are, as well as the females that are partnered with them.
Right.
So I thought. I mean, I feel like if they should have just stuck with a certain number, like 5 elites, and then like their workers that you can kind of just forget about. But as long as you remember this certain number, you're good. But like there was like 10 of them basically, and they just kept getting introduced. And like, okay, this is like too much.
Yeah,
but
it was a lot. But so we get to one of the funniest parts of this arc is Miss Wednesday. In halfway through the fight, Miss Wednesday is holding Luffy hostage while he's sleeping.
Yeah. Luffy is a big ball at this point.
He is. And Zoro like uses him as a shield and stuff because he knows he's so durable because he's rubber.
Yeah. But eventually Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine arrive with like news that Mr. Zero has discovered a spy. That is like, this is not good. And they believe that, they are them. Or at least Miss Wednesday is them. And then Igaram, who was the town leader, if I remember correctly, and Princess Vivi reveal themselves. Like, we're not, Miss Wednesday and Mr. 8. We are like, this is who we are. We're the spies. Like, you caught us. And I think what happens is that Vivi asks the pirates to like help her out, if I remember correctly.
Right, and this is when Nami comes back into the story.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, hi.
She's like, she is basically like, hey, what's up?
I will for like a billion or a trillion,
like a billion berries.
And then she tricks Zoro into like fighting them. Can you help me out? Like, why should I? I don't have to help them out and fight them. He's like, what? You think you can't beat them all? Like, you can't beat these two guys? And it's like, I'll show you. I'm gonna fight these guys.
Yeah.
And then Luffy eventually wakes up, and then he's like, what happened? He's like, the guy attacked us. And then this is like the one. I feel like every saga so far have had one clip or one moment that I knew or been spoiled on out of context. And the only thing that I knew from this entire saga was the 4Kids dub.
Yeah.
And the Luffy, it's good to see you, buddy. Simon, Luffy. like it's the 4Kids dub, not the original.
I've been practicing this with my friends for like years.
Yeah,
on Discord.
go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah.
Where he's like, this is Guts' voice actor, by the way.
Yeah.
So no wonder he can have like such a guttural scream. And this is the if you don't know the 4Kids dub, it was a dub way before Funimation was a thing. They also did the Yu-Gi-Oh dubs, the early Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon as well. But their One Piece dub is god awful, even though their Pokemon moment.
But this one moment is like memed a lot. And
where
it's
he's
so
like,
great.
where he's like, Luffy, it's great to see you, buddy. And he's like, save it! And he jumps towards him, and he's like, I gotta stand away from that. He's like, Luffy!
his face is like.
It's like yes, the Funimation dub is better, but that moment is like, if I could replace that,
that clears like everything else. And it was funny. I was reading it. I'm like, wait a minute, is that moment? I have to like go back.
Yes.
And they kind of in the video it's compressed a bit, but it's like, hey, it's that moment. It's like the Leo meme. Like I recognize what that is.
Luffy. Oh,
and they basically start going like, how can you fight them when they fed us? And then Zoro's like, listen, you idiot, I'm trying to handle like the actual problem here right now. And Luffy's like, I don't want to hear it. You were like, these guys treated us so well, and now you killed them. And then I love this fight.
Yeah.
But one thing that kind of ticked me off is the fact that Luffy like immediately jumps the gun, and like assumes that Zoro kills these people for like no reason. and Luffy doesn't like question it. He just goes off this random guy's advice. I call it cap. This is your I don't know what was it, first mate or lieutenant or what do you call it?
This is your first mate.
This is your first mate. The
right
first person.
Right hand man.
Yeah, this is your right hand man. The first straw hat that you recruited that you have such a bond with. And you don't believe him for 1 second.
Yeah.
But when Nami killed Zoro, or apparently killed Zoro in Alabasta Park, and Usopp is like, "Oh, Nami killed Zoro. She's a bad guy." Luffy's like, "Nah, I trust her.
Right.
Zoro's not dead."
But
he doesn't get the same treatment
Edgar,
here.
I think that it was like.
I get Luffy's dumb, but like,
yes,
no way.
I agree with you. I do think that this is very out of character for Luffy, but I think Oda wanted a Zoro versus Luffy because one of the chapters' name is Luffy versus Zoro, and I don't think he's going to have
another moment like this.
I don't think he's going to have an opportunity because you're right. He is the first right hand man, and I think Zoro and Luffy are very they are very attached to each other. But I don't think he's had. I think Oda just wanted them to fight, so he had them do a silly.
It was a cool fight. It's just that was the one moment I'm like, come on, Luffy. I know you're dumb, but you're not stupid.
And another great moment at the end of the fight when I forget who was.
I think it was Mr. Five. One of the Brokes work is like, "Hey,
excuse me."
It's like, "Shut up!"
And then they do like this cool like
panel
fight stance where they're like, "Don't interrupt our fight."
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite panels. It's like, and I'm gonna put it up on the editing screen right here. Is when he's like, his face is like this, and Zoro's face is like, and it's side by side. It looks really cool.
Yeah,
one of my favorite.
And then they
panels.
eventually kind of beat him like pretty effortlessly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was by accident, but like in the middle of their fight, they kind of just take him out like immediately, and they basically like resolves their fight.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of gags in this one. So it eventually turns out that Princess Vivi is basically going against Baroque Works, and she's
she reveals like what's going on. Like she's from Alabasta, the kingdom, and there's like a civil war being made and devised, by Baroque's work. And basically she infiltrated this group because that's what they're doing. And the rebel forces is fighting the kingdom, and she believes that, there's something else going on. She wants to save her nation, which is really cool. Yeah. And she reveals that the leader, Mr. Zero, is behind it, and she can't reveal who it is because you'll be put on their hit list, and
you'll
it's
be put on their hit
so
list.
High class and you don't want to know.
But then she accidentally reveals his name.
Then I saved the screenshot of their reaction because I thought it was so hilarious.
Okay.
I just thought it's so funny.
Okay.
When she drops it, Nami's face and Luffy's face is so hilarious. Like Nami and like Luffy, like Nami is so horrified.
Like their jaws drop.
And then Luffy's like,
Yeah, exactly.
And then Zoro's like, "You just told us. Like, what is wrong with you?"
But one of the funniest parts of this arc is there's just a lot of good gags in this arc. Is when they're like, "Well, don't worry." Don't worry, like they don't know what you look like. And then Mr. 13 is over there, and he's like, and Nami's like, "Wow, what a good artist." And then she's like, "Wait, no,
wait a minute, wait.
Yeah, but
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
something. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. Wait. Like, don't go.
Exactly. But it's also something that we get later on is that he doesn't get a good look at Sanji. So,
Sanji and Usopp aren't drawn because they're passed out, which is very convenient for them later on, which I like.
Especially Sanji. Sanji, like,
he comes into play
Sanji
as a secret.
saves the day twice in this entire saga, and it's because he wasn't awake for this.
And only until I finished the saga did I realize Sanji, other than those moments, Sanji isn't really involved in a lot of the story for all of these arcs.
Yeah.
Really. He's more involved in play in the Alabasta arc, but I realized, like, wow, he's like doesn't have a lot of lines. He doesn't say a lot in these arcs. Obviously, he has his quips here and there, but he's kind of not shoved to the side. But I feel like even Usopp is more pivotal in these moments.
In these moments, yeah. I would say there's definitely specific arcs where each Straw Hat is the MVP.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing. I just noticed Sanji wasn't used at all, other than these small.
I do
big
think
moments.
he does get a big shout out, especially with how he saves them, because
Yeah.
all looks lost. And there's a specific part in the Alabasta Saga.
We'll get there, but
yeah.
there's some moments where I completely forgot you were in this crew, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But Igaram is gonna leave dressed as Vivi, to act as a decoy, and he leaves, and then this actually shocked me. I didn't expect this to happen. Like the ship and the entire sea around him blows up like lights on fire, which is that caught me off guard.
And it's revealed that Miss All Sunday shows up, who's the highest ranking female emperor.
And what was super interesting, and what made me interested in her character, is that she revealed that she was the one that gave the information to Vivi of who Crocodile is as Mr. Zero, the leader. But she was also the one that discovered that they were spies and gave that information to Crocodile. So it kind of what side is she on? You know what I mean? And
isn't that great? Also, I think her design is really good. With the cowboy hat and she has we talked about this in our last main review, is that the Oda females, they sometimes have difficulty differentiating each other, especially when you don't have the difference in hair color. Vivi looks a lot like Nami.
Oh yeah, the
it's,
hair is just a bit longer.
Yes,
that's it.
Exactly. But Nico Robin, she's got bangs. She's got this.
Oh yeah, we don't know her name until later. I mean,
right. Sorry.
I know. Yeah. I know now, but we don't know her name.
This is why, guys, we talk about sagas, so that we can talk about did you look at this character and think,
I did not think
Straw Hat.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
You know that, right?
But that happens
recognized at the end of Alabasta.
Yeah,
right?
but I kind of recognized her, and I was like, she kind of looks like that one chick that I see all the time.
Yeah.
But I kind of stopped myself. But in the very end, I caught on. She's Rob. What? Simp? Do I smell a
the
simp?
next arc?
No, but she gives them She gives them a log pose that leads them directly to Alabasta, and Luffy's like, "I don't want your help," and he immediately doesn't like her because she essentially, quote unquote, killed Igaram, which is really nice. He's like, "We're gonna find it our own way." So they eventually head off to the next island. So this is so this arc is really good. I don't know.
Funny arc, right?
Yeah. This is a really funny saga.
It is.
This is probably the second. I don't know if it's the second best arc in this saga, but it is a really good one.
We'll talk at the end. We talked about.
We'll rank the arcs.
You did rank. You didn't. I thought so Edgar before this was like, did we rank them? And I was like, no. But you did rank it in order of which arc you like best.
But I didn't review it as a numerical.
Yeah. It's just there's no.
I'll probably do that later once I've caught up.
There's no point when you have no other references. You're at 20% way through the story.
But ranking them in reference of the saga would probably be helpful. We go to the Little Garden arc.
Yay!
I don't know. I think this is my least favorite arc.
You think so?
Yeah. And I mean, a lot happens, but there's not much for me to go on. I feel like we should just touch up on, what really the big things that happen in this.
Yeah,
I know there's a big fight, but I kind of
we spent a little bit a long time on Whiskey Peak, and that was only 10. This was actually pretty longer. It was about 2 volumes, 3 volumes.
Yeah, but I didn't really like this arc. It is cool that Little Garden is dinosaurs and big.
I think the idea of Little Garden is very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's two giants that are Broggy and what's the other one? Dory and Broggy fighting. Is that how you pronounce their name? The giants.
Yes,
they're fighting for their villages.
The second ever non-human race in One Piece.
Giants.
Other than the fishmen. Yeah, the giants.
Yeah, really cool. They're nice, They kind of had a bond where they're fighting each other, even though I have no idea what it is for anymore. It's just kind of funny, but they still keep the tradition when the volcano erupts or booms or whatever, they fight, and they have this rivalry that's more than meets the eye, and eventually I do like how before they depart, Sanji and Zoro, who's gonna who can catch. They kind of have a competition, like who's gonna catch the biggest like bait, like for me to cook, or something. And they both go off and chase like.
Which is interesting because that sidelines Sanji for the whole arc. You know, like he doesn't. He's basically not in this arc. You know, which is crazy.
But his moment in this arc, I feel like other than the last one, because he really wasn't in anything in the last arc. But in this, I feel like this one and moving on, maybe not the next arc either. But I feel like this is like one of the moments where he has a cool moment, which is really cool.
I think Oda kind of realized, and he had to rewrite him differently, so that later on Sanji became, more interesting. But I think he realized Sanji's best moments are his like one-liners and his, when he kind of has like those one scenes where he's like really, really cool and stuff like that. Of course, they make him goofier later on, but yeah.
We eventually run into Mr. 3.
Yes.
They basically trick. They hurt one of the giants, I believe, and then they purposely pit these two giants together. So one could lose. Yeah. I don't know why. I forget why.
Well, I think they wanted one of the giants to join them, right? I think so.
Maybe, yeah. But eventually they're screwing it up. And then like the giant wins and he thinks he won fairly, even though, I don't know, one of the Straw Hats in VV or one of the Straw Hats say that you can't fight. Like you're hurt. Like it's not fair. You've been fighting fairly, and you're like you're hurt. And he's like, I have to go. And like it's my honor. I have to do it. And then when Mr. 3 and Baroque's work, who followed them, reveal that we hurt him. Like you fought him unfairly, and he feels so betrayed, and he feels like so sorry. Yeah, which is pretty evil. Mr. 3 is pretty evil. He's a candle guy, right?
Yes, he's the guy who
wax or something.
Who has like the wax fruit or something. Yeah.
It is the only kind of things that kind of stood out from this fight is Zoro like chopping off almost his leg,
half his leg off.
Yeah. Like, all right, I got it, guys.
I was like, no, stop! What are you doing? You idiot!
He's like, I was gonna do it. He's like,
and he was
really funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because Nami was like, oh, I can't watch, as he was cutting off his arm or his leg. But yeah, so. I mean, there's not like that's the big thing is that they get waxed and Luffy has to come and save. They get waxed and Luffy comes to save them, and then Sanji has his little phone call, with
to take care of it or something like that. Yeah. It was he's on the phone with the crocodile, and he reveals himself as Mr. Prince or something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Prince, or something like that, which is very cool. A couple of things, just big things. Usopp is really he's really one of the big parts of this arc. In his relationship with the giants, right? Because the giants are like, we want to become great warriors and stuff like that, and they talk about their home country of Elbaf and things like that. Yeah. And Usopp takes this, and with his friendship with the giants, they play just an absolute vital role in his goals to become a warrior himself. He's like, yeah, I want to become strong too, just like these guys, So, that leads, Usopp. And we kind of, you in the last arc, you were kind of like, what's Usopp's goal? Everybody has their goal,
I thought he was a great warrior or pirate. I didn't really remember what it was.
Yeah, but I think in here, Oda specifically states
a great
he
warrior.
Wants to become a great warrior.
Okay,
yeah.
He's
great.
Yeah, which is cool. And eventually, the Giants help him. They defeat the Baroque's work. One of them gets away or something like that.
They defeat all of them. One of them gets away. The Unluckies, I think, are the ones who are defeated.
So they're not able to relay that information.
Yeah.
That they defeated them, and then
Oh yes, Mr. 3. I think gets targeted by Crocodile.
Because he failed or something?
Yeah, because he failed. Yeah. So he gets sent out. Which is great. And then at the end, Zoro and Sanji have their argument about collecting dinosaur meat, and it doesn't they argue and argue forever and always.
Sanji reveals that he lies about that the mission to kill Vivi and Straw Hats, was complete, right? Is that what the information that
that's
he
what
gives
he
them?
says? He says they're dead. So then that kind of just shows so that in the next arc they can have a different, a side villain. Also, before we head off into the next arc, Nami gets bitten by a bug that makes her sick.
Yeah, and the giants, the giant who was hurt ends up being okay.
Yeah,
and they're kind of friends. Which is nice.
That what do you think about that, Edgar? Is this?
I like the friendship between them, and
Well, I'm talking more about the One Piece. Nobody dies in One Piece,
So far, yeah. Well, yeah, but I thought by this point Igaram was dead, and I was like, this is getting serious. But eventually, he's not dead.
No, he's not.
So, but I didn't
it
hasn't hit me yet. It hasn't affected me yet.
3 good death fake outs in this arc.
I will
in this
say
saga.
that it hasn't hit. It hasn't really, done anything. It hasn't like pissed me off or anything like that.
Good,
but I have noticed like, no one has died or no one important yet.
Yeah, I mean it is a story for kids, so I don't think many. I never read One Piece thinking many people were going to die, but I know that there was a big audience on the internet who think, that those people should have died.
Yeah.
But also not in every story. Nobody like. It doesn't always need to be about death and gore and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So people can live in stories like this.
Yeah. So eventually, Nami catches like a really bad fever, and they have to take a detour to Drum Island, right?
Drum Island.
But before they do that, they are attacked by Wapol or Wapol.
Wapol.
Yes.
Well,
This guy's
could
really
be Wapol,
this guy's
I
really
guess.
disgusting. Not disgusting, but this guy looks ugly,
Yeah.
and he has like a really disgusting power.
In our tier list that you did, you literally said the exact same. 'Cause
Yeah.
he has the munch fruit basically. I actually think you rated him pretty highly because I think the description of it like gave him
He can eat anything and make
Yeah.
it a part of himself,
and
right?
I guess he's the we're still in this part of One Piece where like we haven't seen a lot of devil fruits, and I think other than the chop fruit, I don't think we've seen another devil fruit, especially not from a main villain of a saga yet.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Do you remember any other devil fruit? I don't think.
What do you mean of like villains so far?
Or anybody really? I don't remember.
Ever since Bluetown meeting Buggy again, no.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I guess we did have what's her face, who's Buggy's side chick now, who like ate the Slim
yeah,
fruit.
but we've already
Yeah.
seen her.
Yeah, but she didn't have the devil fruit at that point. That's why she was big.
Oh
and
yeah,
fat.
yeah. But we haven't gotten anybody. No one in Baroque's work that we know of yet has gotten it. Did Miss All Sunday or did Robin? Has she shown her power yet?
I don't think she's shown it yet.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's
but technically-
how she destroyed those pirate ships. Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually they escape. Wapol, he can eat things. I think he eats a big chunk of the ship. Am I correct?
Yeah, he eats the ship and
Disgusting.
and Usopp, who's been like taking care of it and like rebuilding it, has been like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's basically eating he just shows up and starts eating the ship, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Eventually, they arrive to Drum Island.
Yep.
And they were, they're met by Dalton, right?
Yeah, Dalton.
He
who also has a devil fruit.
Oh yeah, he can turn into a bull,
He
right?
can turn into a bull.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. He basically explains that Wapol's like the king of this island, right? Or he was
like the dictator. He says there was another king.
Oh, yeah.
But Wapol take it over because it's the. I think right now it's called like in the One Piece Wikipedia. I think it's called Evil Drum Island right now because it's owned by Wapol.
Yeah. So yeah. Wapol, but at some point Wapol takes over, but he like basically comes back every now and then, and there's like a castle that he lives in, but he's not there yet. Yeah, I don't know much. I completely
Wapol just a real quick refresher. Wapol banished like all the doctors and because I think this island was supposed to be an island of doctors.
Oh yeah. So that's
he
why they went. Yeah,
he
banished
banished
them.
all of them except for Chopper's master, who I forgot who his name was.
It's a woman named
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Even at the beginning of this arc, the reason why Wapol was so easy to come in was because the a powerful pirate by the name of Blackbeard attacked the country. So yeah, so a powerful pirate, you know, Pole used that to his advantage, and the island is just kind of messed up right now.
All right, I see.
So yeah.
So, man.
So
I can't find the name of the doctor. The witch doctor. She's a witch doctor.
The witch doctor. Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it that.
But so Luffy goes through this absolutely grueling climb to take, you know, Nami to this one doctor because all the other doctors have been banished. You know, so he climbs up this basically vertical mountain because in Drum Drum Island, all the mountains are like completely vertical, and he has to go through like these bunnies, like extremely buff bunny dudes. You remember those?
Yeah, I remember them.
And Luffy, he like helps one of the bunnies and stuff, and that's how they start to respect him. You know, and they're like respect.
I like how, you know, they assign like Luffy to like take care of Nami and take her to the doctor. And they're like, you really got to be careful. Like Nami's like in pain and she can't move around a lot. So it kind of restricts Luffy and like it gives him like I gotta hold back on being crazy.
Doesn't he also have to carry Sanji at some point?
I don't know if it's at this time. I just don't remember Sanji being. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just know he's carrying up until he gets to the castle and finds the witch doctor.
Yeah.
He has Nami on his back on his back all this time.
Yes.
You know, which is really nice, and you know, he kind of it's kind of a responsible moment for Luffy in taking care of as one of his crewmates.
Sanji gets injured by one of the rabbits, so he has to climb up with both Sanji and Nami. Oh yeah,
because Sanji comes with. He is supposed to be with him as well. Yeah.
Dr. Kureha, that's her name.
Kureha, there you go. Yeah. She's eventually, you know, she's discovered to be on like another town where the Straw Hats also. They're like, wait a minute, we sent them over there so they could go to you, like, you know, this is like.
Wasn't it like Luffy got? Oh yeah, because in the town they're like, because Zoro's like, wait, you're not supposed to be here, you know. But Luffy gets to the top, and I think a reindeer comes to him, and he passes out. Because the climb was so grueling, and it's just like, oh cool, it's a reindeer.
I like how Zoro got lost because he was swimming in an ice lake or something.
Right, because he went swimming. I forgot.
And he ends up in the wrong like place.
Oh my god, that's Zoro, my man. How many times is this going to happen? Like at the beginning of the arc, he's just lost. Yeah. This happened at Arlong Park. This happened at This happened at Syrup Village. This happened at all of these arcs.
It's gonna keep happening.
It's gonna keep happening. Yeah.
So I don't remember much of the fight other than when they get there. Is Chopper the one that greets them?
So Chopper's the one. So the first thing that we see is Nami wakes up from her illness, and Chopper is like taking care of her, and he runs away and he hides quote unquote behind.
I like that.
Know? And Chopper immediately, you know, like other One Piece characters, immediately has two things about him. He's terrible at hiding because he doesn't know what hiding is, because he's like a sheltered little boy, and he's like hides behind like this, you know, like this wall, but he's
anything
not actually
he hides behind. Like he just doesn't.
And then if you compliment him, he'll tell you to shut up, but he'll be like, no, shut up, you stupid idiot, stupid. But he's like, you know, but he does it like endearing, you know, like, and he's like, he's eventually, you know, Edgar, he becomes a Straw Hat, but he's at this point, I think he's 14 years old.
At first, he was introduced like young. When he shows up with the witch doctor, he's just like a regular reindeer. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what Chopper looks like, because I know what Chopper looks like. Yeah. And like, well, he's a regular reindeer. Like, why does he look like that? I thought he hasn't eaten the devil fruit yet, but he already does. He can transform in and out of like a regular.
He has, I think, the human fruit, which turns him into, you know, a human reindeer.
Because he's a regular reindeer, and he has a blue nose, and he was kind of casted out. I think at some point we get his backstory. He was casted out by, you know, his reindeer, and he runs into another doctor. By that point, Dr. Hiruluk.
I don't know.
Hiruluk. Either way, the other doctor, the one with the top hat, you know, who's kind of a quack doctor, and you know, he's also a doctor along with the other one, and he finds Chopper, and basically there's like a bond between them, and he cures Chopper, and you know, they have like a trust. I really like the story between this. It's like probably like the most emotional moment
I think it's the most emotional backstory we've gotten so far. Definitely.
Yeah. Something happens. Either the doctor gets sick or something like that, or
Yes, the doctor gets sick and he pushes Chopper out because he doesn't want to have Chopper to deal with that. So he basically says, because Chopper, I think this doctor has taken an interest in pirates, and Chopper's like, why would I want to be a stinky, stupid pirate? Like, I could just be here with you. And he's like, no. And he basically wants Chopper to go and explore the world.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, he casts him out because he has like 10 days to live. And then, like, Chopper, wants to help him and cure him. So he goes to Dr. Kuraha.
Yeah,
No,
Kuraha.
The witch doctor. So,
God.
so I know. So he starts.
Can we just call her the witch doctor?
The witch doctor.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
he starts learning from her.
Yeah.
Chopper starts learning, medicine and stuff for her to cure, Kirlik.
Yeah.
So.
And doesn't he succeed? Doesn't he like have the cure for him? I think he does, because then it makes it all the more tragic when he gets to him and he's like being killed.
I thought it was that he poisoned him. Isn't that what happened?
Who poisoned him?
Chopper. Like, what he makes for him poisons him. Am I crazy?
That might be.
And Dr. Kirlik knew that, and then he takes it anyway because, he doesn't want to disappoint Chopper.
Oh. Well, Chopper, you got that's not going to fly in medical school.
I don't know if I think I don't know. Jeez, I'm trying to find the backstory.
It's
where
fine.
I have it summed
We've been doing really great so far.
Yeah.
So it's fine if we get tripped up on this. But this is a small detail, but it's big.
Yeah, because the Dr. Kirlik goes to Wapol because for help, I think. But eventually Wapol reveals that the doctors weren't banished. He just has them all, which is messed up. If I is that what happened? If I remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
But I think this is where Dr. Kirlik he dies and
he sacrifices himself for
the
Chopper and the country, basically.
Yeah, which is sad. And I'm just trying to confirm myself that that's what actually happened with the cure or not. If it was a cure, or if Chopper really just ended up killing him or giving him a poison or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just remember the panel. Like,
either that, or it might have been Chopper gave it to him and he was like, "Yeah, I'm cured. Good job, Chopper." But it didn't actually work. But in the end, but we know the end point. He gets killed by Wapol. And then we jump back to the present day, and it's this little park is called it's a siege of Wapol's castle, but it's really just just a little fight against
because
Wapol.
I like when Wapol's like chasing like Luffy like around the castle. It's really funny.
And he eats like a cannon, and he like can shoot cannonballs because he can like gain whatever he eats. And so he puts like Luffy puts Dr. Hurlick's flag up on the castle and stuff as a nice gesture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Wapol, when he's losing, he eventually eats his henchmen, Chess and Kuromimo, and then he turns into a house.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
There's just absurd.
Let me see. I say though. There was one thing that I found really funny. It's when Nami wakes up. I just can't remember what the moment was.
Are you sure it wasn't Chopper hiding?
No, the funniest moment for me was something that it's a face that Nami makes when she wakes up.
Oh, also, sorry, you find that, and what I'm going to talk about is Luffy trying to eat Chopper and Sanji.
Oh yeah.
When he woke up, he was like, food reserves,
Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to find it. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, dog.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Luffy wears Nami's coat, which is really funny.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Hey, like Sanji gets mad. It's like, hey, Luffy, that's Nami's jacket. Take it off.
Yeah.
And then he calls like Wapol a hippo. I'm just trying to find the chapter where.
Have you heard Sanji talk to Nami in the sub?
No.
well, in the sub, he goes like Nami Swan and stuff, and it's really nice. You should check out some Sanji clips. It's really cool. Nami Swan.
Yeah. This is the part I was talking about. It's when Chopper is like, "Look, I found it. The mushroom. I gave it to him, like the cure." And then she tells him, like, "No, that's not it. You got it wrong. You gave him was poison." And he's like, why would he take it or something like that? Which is like really
because it's just endearing,
Yeah. So eventually, I can't find it, but there's a funny moment that I found with Nami and Luffy when Nami wakes up, kinda. And eventually they fight, and Chopper joins the fight. And I don't remember much of this fight, really, because it has been a while. Like I said, I'm forgetful. I just only remember the big moments.
Don't worry.
They eventually fight, and,
Luffy wins.
Yeah, they win.
and in very Luffy-like fashion. It wasn't that hard of a battle. Luffy just kind of wins. I mean,
the fight was drawn cool. I will say that. I'm sorry, I just can't remember it
No, you're good.
very well. What I'm going to be doing from now.
Oh, right. Luffy sends Wapol to another island with the Gumu Gumu no Bazooka.
Yeah, because Wapol is revealed again in recent chapters that I'm reading is in cover volumes.
Oh, is
already cover panels?
That's
cover
really
panels.
soon. I thought it was much later.
Well, where I'm reading. I mean, not spoiler alert, but where I am right now, I'm at the Skypiea arc.
Good.
So that's where I'm seeing him at.
I'm so interested to hear your thoughts about that arc, Edgar.
All right, we'll see.
I'm so interested, but that's not for this.
That's
video.
for a future.
That's a future Ben and Edgar problem.
Yeah, they'll deal with it later.
Yeah, exactly.
But where we are is all I remember is
we get a really nice cherry blossom in the snow moment, which is, the cherry blossoms haven't bloomed, and Dr. Harrelek, I think that was his goal, wasn't it? Dr. Harrelek wanted to, revive the plant life on the Drum Island.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do, yeah.
And so they find out a way, and as Chopper is leaving, and of course, Luffy and recruits Chopper and all that, and Dr. Harrelek is like,
go, I don't need you.
Yeah, she kind of fakes all of that, you know. But then we get a nice moment where Chopper's looking at the island and she's like crying a little bit. It's really nice.
But a big moment that I saw. Let me pull it up here because it is pretty important. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Just
take your time.
Kind of vamp a bit.
Vampity vampity vamp. Stampity stampity stamp.
Yeah, they find the there's someone that passed by on this island, I think before they got here. He's like in a hat, and he has a message for a pirate in a straw hat who will be coming through there. And what he says is, if he shows up here, tell him I'll be waiting for him in Alabasta for 10 days. Make sure you tell him. Yeah. And he's like,
Who dat?
Who are you?
Who are you?
The name's Ace.
Yeah.
I already knew who that name is, and I knew.
Of course.
I don't know who he was to Luffy. I just knew that he was important.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. Before we move on, just to rewind just a little bit. Luffy's bounty poster.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention because it happens literally right after that.
I thought it was before. Sorry.
No, yeah.
But Luffy's bounty poster comes up, and Kuruha looks at it and realizes that his full name is Monkey D. Luffy, very similar to how Goldie Roger, his name, but
Buggy D. Clown.
At this point, we don't know. Like, he's only been called Gold Roger. He hasn't been called Goldie Roger at this point.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, but his full name was actually Goldie Roger. Which
have you ever heard of Goldie Roger? D, you mean Gold Roger? There's not a soul in the world that hasn't heard of him. Yeah. And then she sends so the will of D lives on. I didn't know what that meant. I just wrote it down because I knew it was kind of important.
Fascinating. I can't say anything.
All right. Well.
Yeah,
we'll see. But eventually, Chopper joins the crew as a doctor.
This is a crazy arc, right? Like, it's not in pure substance, right? The main part you take from it, when you look back on this arc, you're like, oh, it's the Chopper arc. That's basically what you think about it. But in reality, we hear names. We hear the name of Blackbeard. We hear the will of the D.
I forget Vivi was in this entire arc.
Yeah, me too.
I also forget she was in the last arc too.
Yeah,
but Chopper
I kind of forgot Zoro's in this arc, he doesn't do much.
No, he doesn't. I forget
Yeah.
how he was how he was pushed aside because he would have
sidelined, yeah.
helped.
No,
Yeah.
well, I don't think he was. I don't know if he was.
Sanji was crippled because he was injured and like
Yeah.
they had him hostage,
Yeah.
like by stepping on him.
What was Usopp doing this arc?
I don't know.
I don't know what a lot of the Straw Hats were doing, but like we said,
Yeah.
it is the Chopper arc. But so we get the Will of the D, we get Blackbeard, we get Ace,
Yeah.
we get like a lot of these, big characters, Edgar, who you familiar with, as an anime fan in general.
Yeah. I like how Chopper can speak to animals, obviously, duh, because
Of course. Yeah,
and he
he's an animal.
translate a lot what Karoo is saying, which is, it's pretty funny, and you see Usopp having a good time, and they have like a party on the ship, which is really nice. I really like that.
Yeah.
And then eventually at the end of this like chapter, the last of this arc, number 2 is revealed, which is the Swan guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought
does he show up on the what?
he shows up in Little Garden. He's following.
Oh,
He's following the crew,
right.
and he's chasing them down.
Before we move on, Edgar, I just want to pick your brain a little bit about, because we've gotten through, I would say, about 75% of this saga. Of course, the next part takes up like majority of it.
Yeah.
It's like this one's like 4 or 5 volumes. I think it is. No, it's 8.
Yeah.
I'm a fool.
Fool!
But fool.
That's
fly,
a
you
leader
fools.
reference.
But I just want to pick your brain about. There's a lot of times in
17. Oh wait, no, that's 17 to 24.
Yeah,
8
yeah.
volumes. Sorry.
It's 8 volumes.
Sorry to interrupt
don't
you. Keep
worry.
going.
But I just wanted to pick your brain about, because in anime and manga, there's a lot of talks about the flows of arcs. And do you think in One Piece, and specifically in the Alabasta saga, do you think it is flowing like pretty well? Because like we see things.
Yeah, because the flow of arcs happens naturally because it literally takes place so far island on island because they're literally traveling island to island. So and Vivi's along with for the whole ride for this one because she's not really in the first arc, but once they get to Whiskey Peak, they tell her who she is. So the job is to get her to Alabasta to help her with her mission. So and you meet Baroque's work members like a step along the way. So it's kind of like it is one giant arc. It's a saga. Yeah. So it really feels like it's fluid because Vivi, who's like the prominent main character in the saga, other than the gang, because they're going to be with the story.
They're going to be the main characters, obviously.
But she's like the main character of the saga because it revolves around her and the country. So it flows naturally because she's with them, gives them information about like Alabasta, and the Baroque's work give them information about who the villains are. So it flows really nicely. So I do like that, and it does work well. Because
isn't it great that like there are things that are
being hinted at?
There are things that are being planted, and of course we can't talk about that. But
I do know. I get the feeling that they're important.
Yeah, but there are long plants, things like Ace. Ace. You know, and of course you heard of Blackbeard. But there are even small plants, right? Like in Little Garden when Nami gets stung by that. That leads into the main conflict of the next arc, So I think it is like in terms of flow, it's something that One Piece really has, but it's easier because it is an adventure manga, so they are just going from point A to point B, So it is rather more interesting.
Yeah.
I just think I think a lot of One Piece fans, they go, "Oh, Oda's foreshadowing," and they think that that's what makes One Piece storytelling good. It's definitely an addition, but I think it's less foreshadowing and more the perfect build-up to certain arcs.
I think people confuse world foreshadowing with
world building,
simple world building. Because you're just it's set up. We're not going to get into that, but I feel like that's a different topic. Right. But people do confuse that.
And we can talk about when this finishes, we can talk about do an overall video of the themes and the characters of One Piece and how it all fits together in modern storytelling and how some fans they kind of don't they think foreshadowing is like this. But it's not. That's not what makes One Piece storytelling great.
The next arc, Alabasta Arc.
Alabasta?
That's the name for the saga, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. It's a big old long one. I don't remember. the only thing like I said, forgetful memory over here.
Yeah.
So the main things that I remember is like the very last half of this until Crocodile
Don't worry,
really
Edgar,
appears.
I got you. I think Alabasta is one of the best arcs in the saga, so I've reread it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I read through it once, and then I was like, that was so great, I'm gonna read through it again. And then when I finished, I read through it again. So I know a lot what happens in this.
I
so
just
can
marked
refresh
down
it.
that Mr. 2 runs into them, and he reveals his devil fruit.
Yeah.
Which is the I don't know what it's called, but he can shapeshift into other people.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nifty and not good, because he could trick them.
It's funny to jump ahead, just to connect those 2 moments when he's like, when Crocodile's like, "Oh, these are what they look like," and he's like, "Eh." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh God," he's like, "I ran into them," which is great. So yeah, they finally reach it, and it's this desert, which we kind of, kind of assumed, but it's a place that's on the brink, right? There are revolutionaries who are trying to go against, the entire kingdom, and
pissed off at the kingdom,
and because they think that what Baroque's work is doing is actually the king, and it's revealed that there is a king who is Vivi's dad, who a lot of people think is in charge, but he's not. He's basically just being a mouthpiece for Baroque work.
So they're mad at him because there's no water, and they're not dividing out resources, or they're not. Oh yeah, they don't want to use what's it called? Sand powder or something?
Sand powder, yeah.
Sand powder. It's revealed later, but that's why they're mad, because there's something called sand powder which can bring rain, but it steals from other nations, and the king doesn't like it because he knows it'll bring huge conflict later in the future. But Alabasta hasn't had rain for a while, and it's unnaturally so they're mad at him. We have to use it or we'll die. I don't care what it'll bring. Don't you care about your people? And it's like a civil war going on. So that's really what they're mad at, if I remember.
Yeah.
And then they go to Nanohana, which is a port town.
Yes, which is it's a port town.
Luffy runs straight to the nearest restaurant.
Bro, he's like, dude, I'm hungry. He's hungry. When a boy gotta eat, Or
you gotta control yourself, man.
And especially when you're rubber like that, you could basically just eat, forever,
And poor.
Which is great.
Hey, but we run into 2 people pretty important. Yeah. Captain Smoker's back.
One of the reasons why I love this arc. I love Captain Smoker, and of course,
he's pretty cool.
Chasing somebody.
Ace is here. He shows up.
Dude, this is just such a good conflictual arc. You got Baroque's work, you got the Marines, you got the revolutionaries, you got the Straw Hats, you got
the kingdom.
Yeah, you got all these people in this kingdom, and basically all hell is breaking loose, which I think is really, really great. Like, it's just setting up that, it's also setting up that the Marines, they're kind of useless because they let this town kind of get subjugated by.
Yeah, you think for a world government they would have this handled.
Well, but also,
or they would notice.
Well, but also,
what
Crocodile works for the government.
Yeah, I'll touch on that, but
we'll get towards that at the end. That's at the end.
I don't even know at the end, because what's revealed about I'll just touch on it very small now. What's revealed about the world government and the 3 powers? That's revealed in the Skypiea arc, right? Or in the Jaya arc.
I think it might be the Jaya
because
arc,
they have a meeting there, but we'll get to that.
We've heard about the 7 warlords before, but I don't think we know until we don't know that they are, and maybe that's. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to grasp on here. Like, maybe this was the moment when it happened. Maybe this was the moment because Smoker he works independently from the government because he thinks that they are run by corrupt. Because, in the Loketown arc, when they called him, and he was like, tell him to buzz off, because he's strong enough to become an admiral at this point, but he just doesn't want to.
All I know is that my big question on how it worked didn't come up until that saga later. So I kind of don't want to touch on it then until that specific few chapters show up.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know.
That's okay.
I didn't know if they worked for the world government.
All I know is that the Crocodile is one of the 7 warlords of the sea.
Yes.
And that everyone thinks he's good because he's just a hero to them, and he's just casino owner or something like that.
Yeah, he is. He's a casino owner, and he's and they think he's good because he works with the government. So
yeah,
they,
I don't know
they
how.
assume,
I don't know what his position is with the government because they
He's-
don't know
he's-
he's the seventh warlord of the sea, right?
I think everybody knows who the warlords are. I
But do they
believe
know
do.
Crocodile is him?
I don't know.
Because why would
Yeah.
he?
I
Why,
think-
why does he care so much that people don't know?
Right. I think Crocodile. I think Crocodile. They know, they think is to be a good man, and they know is a warlord of the sea, but they don't know that Mr. Zero, who is also him, is the head of Baroque Works and is doing all these awful stuff.
So he doesn't care that they know he's Crocodile. They just don't
Yeah.
want to know that Mr. Zero is Mr. Crocodile.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So eventually, Luffy, I think he barges in through buildings and then
Yeah.
eventually runs into the restaurant,
Yeah.
where Ace is, and they're brothers, which is surprising. I think this is really cool, but I just find it surprising. I know, like, considering how long One Piece is, it's long.
Yeah.
But in terms of like manga, regular manga, like 150 chapters later, it's just revealed that Luffy has a brother.
Luffy has a brother.
I know
yeah.
Luffy's dumb and maybe he's not talkative. He is really talkative, but I know he's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't reveal a lot about himself. I just find it funny. Like, really? Like, why did he never mention
Yeah.
this before?
In a interview between Oda, right? Oda said that he wanted to finish One Piece originally in 4 years. So,
but
as soon
is
as
it 4
he
years
started,
now?
Yes, it's been. I think it's been 5 at this point.
Really?
I-
manga? It took that.
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's been a while. Because I think this came out in 2002, 2003, maybe. But he talks about the reason why, it took so long.
Yeah.
And it's because
Yeah,
of, it's because of this arc. And he said, like, somebody said, why did it take so long? And he drew the 7 warlords of the sea, and he said, these guys are the reason why it took so long.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just still, even then, if we were playing on short, I would have figured he would have mentioned Ace, like, before then. I'm just surprised.
Right.
I'm just surprised Luffy hasn't mentioned
It makes
him.
you think that, have we,
Did we? It made me realize, like, wow, I really don't know Luffy at all.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, maybe you don't, maybe you don't know,
Yeah.
There's, and this is what I love about Oda's backstories, is that when you get a backstory of someone, that doesn't mean it's their whole story, Just because they give you a little bit of backstory doesn't mean that's where they were forever. I feel like a lot of anime and manga do that. They give you a small little backstory and they're like, this is who this person is, and this is all you need to know about their backstory. When in reality, that's not true. We have many memories, and moments like that.
Yeah. So Luffy tries to run from Smoker, and then
Yes.
and then Ace fights him off for them,
Yeah.
and eventually they meet back on the ship.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Hey guys, this is my brother," and like, "What?" I'm like, all surprised.
Yeah. And he's like, take care of him. He's a little stupid.
Yeah.
He's a little built
does he
different.
reveal here that he's a Whitebeard pirate, Whitebeard crew pirate here?
If he doesn't, I mean, it's hard not to tell because he has a giant tattoo of a man with a white beard on his back.
Yeah. So
know?
he's
Yeah.
a Whitebeard pirate. And he's like, all right, I got somewhere else to be. He's like, I'll take care of him, and he can't stay long. And he hands Luffy a piece of paper before leaving,
Yes.
and then he goes out in the most stylish way possible
Yes.
by destroying like a bunch of ships
Yeah.
for Baroque's work.
And did you see his little speeder car? Like, he's got that little speeder boat, right?
I think so. I don't
Yeah, it
remember.
looks sick.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then Vivi sends Karoo with a message to the king, to warn them about what's happening, which is really nice. I really like.
Yeah.
I like that moment for Karoo.
It's great. I really, I don't know. I might make you take a break halfway through reading One Piece so that you can read the Ace novel.
What is that about?
Oh, it's the one that's been drawn by Boichi.
Really?
Who's if you don't know who Boichi is, he's the mangaka or the manga writer or manga illustrator of Dr. Stone, and he illustrated a novel about Ace that talks about his backstory, and it's really
Will
good.
it spoil? Can I?
No, no, because it was started. I think he started writing it a long time ago, but I don't know.
All right, yeah. So they go through the desert and they eventually run into like the town, right?
What was that?
They run into the town.
They run
where,
into
where it's deserted and like the old man's there.
Oh, yes, they do. But don't forget the Kung Fu Dodongs. The Kung. Remember Luffy? Like, so they park their ship, and then Luffy has these penguin kind of things, and they're like, or these seals, and he's like teaching them how to fight and stuff. Do you remember
that? I have
that?
no idea what you're talking about.
Hold on.
Man, I do not remember that name at all.
No, you'll remember as soon as I show you a picture. Hold on. God, no, I don't want to watch Harry Potter.
Kung Fu Dodong.
Eh.
Yeah, I think this is around where the chapter when the Baroque's work groups, like the higher ups, start meeting, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Or like I kind of like lost, not interest, but like I kind of I had to drop it for a while, but I stopped reading for like a week at this point. I don't know, because there's like a lot, and I started like losing interest. But I picked it up eventually.
It's these guys. The one who
the seals?
Yeah, the seals who were like who they like Luffy was like teaching how to like fight, and they beat up Usopp.
I don't remember that at all. I completely forgot.
Oh man, I thought they were so funny.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I thought.
Yeah, it says Chopper bribes them with food so they can leave.
And he's got like a whole army.
I think I remember that, but I completely forgot about that, honestly.
Nah, don't worry, keep going.
But after that, they run into the town, which is dried up, which is supposed to be known as a green city, but it's not. And there's an old man like digging for like water, but
damn, dude, he begging for some water.
yeah, but it's not nothing's there, obviously. Nope. This is where he explains what sand powder or sand powder. What is it called?
It's fine. It's all you need to know is that it grows plants, basically.
Yeah,
or it brings water
or
whatever.
He explains what happened, and I think it shows the backstory between that and what happens. And we get introduced to like, man, what is all this crap going on? Is this filler arc that I'm reading?
Filler arc?
Hold on. The desert, the camel, and the old man. I'm going through like I'm using like the wiki summaries to help me out that I'm running.
Yeah.
I think what I have here is oh no. Yeah, no, here we go. Sorry, I think what I was reading was some filler, which is bad, not good.
Yeah, but we meet the
Koza.
rebel army.
Toto,
here.
there you go.
Yeah.
With Toto, it reveals Toto, and he reveals that he was an old citizen and a friend of Vivi, who was good. They had good relations between him and the king. Yeah. Koza was a childhood friend of Vivi. He has a cool design.
Is this where we get? He does. Is this where we get Vivi's backstory?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Which is really nice. Yeah, I guess
there's not much that happens here.
At least I can't remember the specifics. I just know they were good friends. Koza once trusted the king, but he's now leader of the rebel army. I just know throughout the saga, I know he's important, but I really thought they were going to have more with Koza, but nothing else much happens.
No, they didn't do much with him, Yeah. He's basically what he's there for is to kind of be a ticking time bomb. To be like, you have to basically figure out all the problems, otherwise we go, we
to war.
Attack. Because they think that it's the king, it's the government of Alabasta that is the problem. When in reality it's Baroque works, but they just don't know. Yeah. They don't know that what the king is doing is for their well-being,
Yeah.
But yeah, basically
he helps him out, gives him some water, and lets him sleep.
Yeah.
And then Luffy has a cool moment where he tells him listen, like you're not gonna be able to do this. He stops like Vivi and he tells her to like give up. I thought, I was like, what the heck is going on? I thought he's been complaining about how he's hungry and all the time, and they thought like that's the reason why. He's like, look, I get it, you're unhappy, whatever. And like, no, like listen, get up. He's like, we won't be able to stop the rebels in Crocodile without killing anybody. And then you should, that they should just go straight to like where Crocodile is to like beat him up. And he promises Vivi, I think, that I'm gonna beat him up for you. He's like, listen, I'm gonna stop this. He's like, once and for all. And then what happens here? I think they just go to
Rain Base.
Yeah, which is the casino, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it got interesting again for me, and this is what I started really reason on through with it. I think they get captured.
Well, I think first they run into Smoker and Tashigi. And then they have like a little bit of
they chase them around,
chase stuff, and then they get captured. Yeah.
I think they just like run into a trap and then Smoker gets caught along with them.
Yeah.
All except
Hilarious. I love that. I love that so much.
all
yeah.
except for Sanji and Chopper, right?
Yeah.
Which is really nice because again, like this is like when Sanji not being known as a Straw Hat comes into play and becomes useful.
Yeah.
Because Crocodile doesn't know anything about him, which is really funny.
Is he just like hanging out at the casino?
I don't know. I think he just ran in a different direction. I could be wrong. I don't know. When they get chased around, I have no idea.
That's interesting.
Oh, my throat's starting to get really dry.
Yeah, we've been talking for a while.
That's okay. We're getting there. We're almost near the end, kind of. But they eventually get I'm just trying my best to remember. They get captured. Crocodile reveals like, "Hey, it's me," whatever.
Yeah, where he's like, "I'm the bad guy," and we're like, "Oh wow, we didn't know that."
Yeah.
Basically.
Let me just talk through the main points. I feel like we're going too much of the summary because this is really long. I feel like I just want to talk about what I liked about it. So eventually they break out. I like how Sanji comes into the rescue and like is able to distract them.
Just real quick, I want to talk about how Luffy continuously like holds the cage, even though he makes it tight. He's like talking. He's
because he made a seabed, right?
He's like, "Hey, why don't we?" And then Usopp's like, "Stop touching it! Stop touching the cage!" It's so funny. It's really good.
Yeah. Vivi is like outside of the cage, and he gives him, and then Crocodile like gives him a chance to like. You can either free your friends here. He like drops a key into the water with the banana crocodiles or banana gators. Yeah. And he's like, you have a chance to free the rebels, or to help the rebels and stop the rebellion, or to help your friends who are about to die, like when the place is flooding, which is really cool. Yeah.
Well, the next part that I can really remember is when Luffy gets stomped by Crocodile.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool fight. I like it a lot.
And
he reveals his power.
Yeah, we haven't seen Luffy been stomped like this before,
Yeah,
he
loses. He loses twice, I think.
He does lose twice. Yeah, he does. But I think it's because we haven't seen this type of devil fruit before, right? I think
it's sand.
Yeah,
sand
but it's also we have seen it because it's like smokers. Because it transforms his body. It's a different type of fruit. If you're interested in figuring out what each type of the fruit is, go watch our video of the tier list. I describe all of them. I don't remember that stuff every time. I know there's Logia, there's, other types. I don't know which type Crocodiles is. All I know is that it's different, and it's really hard to beat these guys because when you hit them, when they're sand, they don't do anything. But it is teased that water is his weakness, basically. Yeah. Which is why he's kind of taken away the water from all of these towns.
Oh yeah, it is small note, it is revealed that Crocodile lays out the plan. He's like, the final plan will be done by tomorrow. So go do this stuff. Yeah. You have your missions to overthrow the kingdom and like to set up all this stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. But yeah, Luffy fights and he reveals like his sand powers.
I think it's just called the sand fruit.
Yeah, the sand fruit, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to remember what happened. Dance powder, that's what it's called. Dance powder is what the sand.
But so basically, they're like, Luffy is saved by by
Miss All Sunday.
By Miss All Sunday, who is
Robin.
That's Robin, right?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I forget why Luffy gives her his hat at this point. Do you remember that?
Does he give her his hat?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you sure?
I'm trying to remember.
I think he gives it at the end because remember she's like wishing to die at the end, isn't she? And Luffy like puts his hat on her and then like, or he lose his hat and somebody else.
I think so. Yeah, I think
up.
she gets it. But regardless, she saves him from the quicksand, and then like Crocodile sends a sandstorm towards Yuba, which is where the old man Toto is, and then that makes Luffy like really mad. Yeah. And but Luffy obviously loses, and Crocodile thinks he dies. And then the war begins.
Woo.
Woo.
Yeah, Edgar. Let's go through war. What is it good for?
Increasing manufacturing.
Yeah. Oh, right.
That's like Bo Burnham's version.
All right, Edgar. Let's talk about these. Let's talk about these fights, and let's go through it fight by fight. So I believe the first one is Sanji versus Bon Clay, Is that the first one that happens?
Yeah, the one with the peacock guy, right?
Yeah, peacock guy who can transform.
Or swan guy, sorry.
Yeah, and doesn't he? Isn't this? I'm trying to jog my. Doesn't
Oh
he
yeah,
turn
he
into
turned
a
Nami.
woman?
He transferred to all his friends. He's like, "How do you
Yeah.
feel about fighting your friends?" He's like, "I don't really care. I can fight you easily." Because they both use legs, and they're basically like an equal match for each other.
Oh yeah.
But he like transforms into Nami, which is really funny, and then he like just can't help but like gawk at him, which is like you basically can't fight him. He like turns
Right.
into Nami. He's like, "Ooh, look, I'm all pretty." He's like, "Oh man, this is like really hard or something."
Yeah. What is this? Does Sanji say that he can't hit women? Or
I think
you
so.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's against his code.
it's pretty
yeah.
funny. It's a nice fight.
Yeah, it is. It's a really funny. It's a really funny, nice fight.
And then the next fight is Usopp and Chopper and I don't know who else.
Yeah. So
Probably my least favorite fight.
So then, really, I actually really like this fight.
I don't like it. I mean,
yeah,
the only part I thought
it
was cool was when
Usopp and Chopper versus Miss MC and Mr. Four.
yeah.
So yeah.
Um,
And this was Miss MC, I think, is, or maybe it's
Merry
Mr.
Christmas.
Four. Oh, Mrs. Merry Christmas. Is that the one
And the
that
gun
can
dog.
go that can go like underground and like dig and stuff like
yeah,
that?
yeah. And then you have the gun dog, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous, but I thought it was pretty funny.
The reason why I really liked it was because Chopper got a new form, didn't he? Where he transforms into like this kind of like humanoid, like standing reindeer.
I don't
version.
remember.
Hold on, let's see.
I don't know. I just remember that Usopp bluffs, and like he brings out this big hammer. He's like, "How? It's like way too heavy." But like it's just like a devised, like, you know.
Yeah, that's why I really liked it.
But I don't know. I
Yeah.
just didn't like it that much, you know.
I think it's great.
I gotta
Yeah.
say, Usopp kind of annoyed me in this saga more than he did in the previous one. I don't know why. I just kind
Yeah.
of didn't like him that much.
Well, he gets a bloody beating this battle. He just gets
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed.
yeah.
In this battle. Yeah, definitely. But I'm unsure. Maybe he didn't get a new transformation. I think he did.
Yeah.
That allowed him to like dig underground.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know this fight. But the next one is Nami and that chick, right? With the spiky stuff.
Yeah, it's Miss Doublefinger with Nami, which is interesting. They get more like interesting with the names. I feel like, which is weird. I was like, where?
Yeah,
were
that's
these
not a
people at the
day.
beginning?
Doublefinger.
Yeah. And she this is when she gets Usopp's climb attack.
Usopp annoyed me so much, even though he wasn't in this fight. And like, oh my god, what the heck is
Right.
the point with these party? I thought he was gonna do something cool by like making a cool like weapon for Nami, but he really annoyed me here. Like, what the heck is the point of all this stuff if it's gonna be useless?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Nami loses her shirt. I'm like, man, it really became apparent to me that Nami doesn't have her shirt all the time in this, like, because like she always ends up losing it accidentally. She's just like in a bikini all the time, which is pretty funny.
Oh, I'm so sorry to jump back. In the Usopp, the reason why I liked the fight so much was the gun dog lasso.
I told you that. The gun dog.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I completely jumped over that. I love the gun dog. He looks so absurd, and he looks like he's like he's like one of those, like, you know, those fat dogs where you look at and you're like, they are like clinging on to life. You know?
I just didn't like the fight overall. But the one where I really liked is Zoro's fight against number one.
Yes.
Who was like the second male leader of like the Baroque's work.
He is. He's number 2.
He can turn his weapon.
Number
He
one,
can turn any part of his body into like a sword, right? Essentially,
sword. Yeah.
steel, which is really cool. And like Zoro puts like a.
Somebody's mowing their lawn.
Let's just keep talking. Whatever.
All right, it'll be fine.
My favorite part of this fight was Zoro. He was my favorite fight essentially, and he puts this like obstacle and this challenge from him. If I can cut through steel, that means I could, I'm already a better swordsman in general, which is like really cool.
Basically, this is like, if I cut through steel, I can cut through anything.
Yeah, which I really like that. It was a really cool fight. It was probably my favorite. Vivi like tries to stop the panic, but they run right past her.
Yeah, Vivi goes to Vivi goes and gives a order to the royal family, and there's there's like this last second thing that happens with Pell the Falcon and a bomb and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
Pell.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
like this design. I really like
Yeah,
Pell.
Pell was cool.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Luffy comes back with the help of with Pell, and he
Pell the
rescues
Falcon.
Vivi. And I love it like when Luffy comes in and he's like armed with like a barrel of water. And one thing I really like about One Piece is when they set up a villain to be almost impossible to fight, or like so cocky, so arrogant that you kind of just hate. And then once Luffy lands the first hit on them, it's super satisfying.
Yeah.
And I really like it how Luffy found the way, like with water, sand turns into like kind of solid-ish, like, and it stops him from using his power, because when Luffy was trying to hit blows on Crocodile, it was just going through him. But when he lands that like first like hit, it was super satisfying. Probably one of my favorite moments in the fights, you know, throughout the rest of the arc,
Definitely.
which I really liked. And you know,
Isn't it better than, you know, like this person's stronger than this one? He actually has to use like tactics and strategy to like beat him.
yeah, because one
always
could
think it's
argue
great.
that Crocodile isn't physically stronger or better at fighting. It's just his power just makes him so like untouchable. So like, and it's really cool. This entire fight's like really cool. Luffy like decides to take in all the water, completely filling himself with water, water Luffy, which is a really funny form.
But it doesn't. In the end, it doesn't matter, because as it turns out, the sand fruit actually does a little bit more than what Crocodile's been letting on, and anything he touches dehydrates and dries.
Yeah.
So he touches Luffy's neck, and like he becomes, if that's water Luffy, this becomes like what happens when you're in the desert and you're super dehydrated. What's it called? Overheat stroke, heat stroke. There you go, heat stroke Luffy. And then we have this moment where they kind of cut away to Miss All Sunday getting confronted by the Marines.
Yeah.
And it turns out that her real name is Nico Robin.
She was a notorious pirate, or wanted back then, like when she was like a little kid. Apparently,
I don't think she was a pirate. I think she just received a bounty of 79 berries. I don't think she was ever a pirate.
Oh yeah, just at a young age, she got a really high bounty.
Yeah, responsible for sinking 6 warships.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Jesus.
And Nico Robin doesn't like this. She's visibly angry, and she kind of just whoops the Marines with her power. Have we seen her power? I guess she obviously...
I think we've revealed it already by this point.
Yeah.
I think I ranked her pretty low, but I think it's pretty useful and pretty cool.
Yes,
yeah.
I think so too.
I think I remember her ranking lower in the tier list when I ranked the powers in One Piece.
Yeah.
But it is pretty useful, and it's really cool here.
Like she can just her hand can just come up out of anywhere and just go, and then like grab you and like do anything to you. It's crazy. That is crazy.
And the fight is just really cool. That's pretty much it. Well, not pretty much it, but you know, I really liked it, and I had to see it. It's like one of those scenes when I just went to the anime, and I read the chapter, and then I go to the anime and like to watch it again just to see it animated. It's pretty cool, and I liked it a lot.
Then we have the moment with the clock tower.
Yeah, it's a ticket. They reveal that they're gonna shoot like a cannon or something that's like super powerful, and they have to stop it, and it'll go off at this time, and they'll set it off.
That's basically it. The bomb just doesn't go off, and Pell
sacrifices himself.
himself.
I like how they use like each other, the Straw Hats, like Zoro and Sanji. Like, hey, like Zoro's like, which one was it? I think it was Sanji. Hey, how'd you guys get over here? Oh, how'd you guys get over here?
Yeah.
Like they're like one on top of each other. I was like, perfect. We'll just throw you up there. And it's like really funny,
exactly,
which I really liked.
Yeah.
And then but a really nice moment is like when it explodes, the rain finally starts to like appear, and it was a really nice moment, which I liked a lot.
And then we get probably my favorite part of the entire saga is when Nico, Robin, or still Miss All Sunday, and King Cobra. They're in the Grave of Kings and find the Poneglyph. And this is where the final fight between Crocodile and Luffy. Luffy comes back. He goes, 3rd time's a charm, baby. And this time I'm going to whoop ya. And so we have a nice, just a nice...
Oh, yeah, because he loses... Yeah. Oh, this is where he loses for the 2nd time. I remember now.
He lost... Yeah, so he lost when he gets completely dried. And I think he gets thrown into, like, a river or something. And he comes back, like, completely refined. And so, but there's a nice... This is a nice final battle in this, like, grave that is, that is collapsing in on itself. And there's nothing cooler than a fight in a place that is like about to blow up or is collapsing or is, or is like imploding in on itself. I think that's really cool.
I love how Luffy uses his blood to like land the hits.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing it with blood? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So metal. Yeah.
Totally
really
metal,
cool.
man.
It's totally metal, dude.
Yeah, but he like knocks him all the way through the roof, and then he's like, "That's through solid bedrock." Like, and there's so many of them, like between here and the surface. It's really cool, and like Luffy, like smiles and like,
What I really like is there are smaller moments, like Luffy turns his back on Nico Robin, signifying that I know you're not going to attack me. I trust you.
like I've forgiven you, kind of.
Yeah,
because Luffy was mad.
Because she saves him.
Yeah.
And then she has that fight, and Crocodile decides, that the cave's gonna be destroyed with the Poneglyph. And Luffy, the fight's really good. Like, it's a really good back and forth. Fight, and he uses this new thing called the Gumu Gumu no Storm. And yeah, it's just really good. And
They eventually reveal that Robin is saved, like King Cobra. Or the king from like the rubble and all that. And he helps him out. And then I forget how he beats him. Luffy just eventually fights and beats him.
Didn't Robin in this one? Wasn't Robin like just let me die with the?
Oh
with
yeah,
the
but
rubble?
Luffy
And Luffy saves her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Ah, come on."
Yeah, he's like, "You're not dying."
Yeah,
which is really interesting how she just like wanted to die.
And it seems that her real interests came from the real reason why she was working with Baroque Works was to get to that Poneglyph. And what's on the Poneglyph, we don't know, but
yeah, she lied. So like for the sake of, which is really nice.
Yeah,
really cool.
And then they return, and Vivi's basically just able to calm all the calm everything down.
Yeah.
Lot. What do you think about just all of these battle scenes overall? Like, everybody had a part to play in this final saga. It
was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. Like I said, my favorite was Zoro's and Luffy's fight. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then like the final moments of them trying to stop the bomb, and then like Vivi stepping up trying to stop it, and then Pell's sacrifice.
Yeah.
All really cool build and tension momentum, which is really nice, and I liked it a lot.
Build tension momentum.
Yeah. But my favorite moment, after the fight, there's a big celebration. Luffy gets fat again. He's like Luffy like tells her like, I'm gonna beat him up for you, but you better feed me in like 2 days or something like that.
Basically.
Which is really cool. But there's like Vivi's speech, and she said that she's gonna join them, but eventually she doesn't end up joining them.
She doesn't.
She
becomes an honorary Straw Hat.
Yeah. She says like, hope you'll call me a Straw Hat. The next time you show, or something like that.
Yeah, well, she's like, I want to do another adventure with you guys. So when I want to join back, you will welcome me back, right?
And they can't say anything because the Marines are there, and they don't want to like, they don't want to pair her with her, so they want to keep her safe. So it was revealed that in order to hide from Mr. 2,
Mr. 2, Bon Clay.
They put an X on their mark to like as a term to like to help to show them as like that we're the real us, so we don't get tricked. And it's also like a sign of friendship, like crew. So they couldn't say anything to her when she said that she wanted to join them again. So they instead raised their fists in solidarity.
One of the best.
Probably my favorite moment in the arc.
Probably the best panels so far in all of One Piece.
Yeah.
Like all of them just going like that, like facing the other direction. So cool.
Yeah.
It's so good that so many other mangakas, it's such a big moment that so many other mangakas have made a parody
Really?
Of this.
Let me bring it up over here. I wanted to mention just like one thing. As I finished, this entire arc and saga, I, how like Boichi did like that one fight. He like did like a one shot of the fight between Mihawk and Zoro.
Yes.
Well, I read basically like a one shot like the same thing. A manga named Naoshi Komi. They basically did Nisekoi, which is like a harem romance comedy
Okay.
manga, and basically did like one shot of Vivi's like the end of the arc, kind of like when
Let me
Vivi
see.
like does the speech and whatever, and it's like like this.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but like
oh,
it's
there
funny
they are.
because like all the girls just look prettier and like Luffy like kind of looks like pretty kind of cool, like in a different.
Yeah,
just,
he looks cool. In a
he's just
different
drawn
way,
in a
yeah,
different light. But
yeah.
Chopper looks like so weird because he just looks all grown up and like his eyes are like just completely different. But like the
Yeah.
quality is like really cool and unique because it's like once again a different. Yeah, look at Vivi. She looks beautiful and gorgeous and in this one
Oh
shot.
yeah.
Yeah, because he just.
This guy should really do an adventure manga. I think he'd have fun with
Yeah,
that.
I really like Nisekoi. It's a really good rom-com. It's pretty underrated. The manga, like, finished. I like it.
Yeah. His
Um,
style is good for shonen. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to look up and see if it does any more stuff. But I mean, that's basically pretty much my thoughts
Yeah.
on the arc in the saga. I want to mention before we wrap it up and I basically rank the arcs in favorite. In terms of my favorite.
I'm gonna do that too.
Ben, I want to tell you. I don't know if this is good news or bad. Well, it's not good news, but I don't know if it's bad news or
Good
if you
news?
should be worried.
Okay.
At this point, even after all this, I'm a critical guy, I guess. Like I enjoy things, even turning off my brain. There's a lot of things that I can just turn off my brain where I don't have to be overly critical. So there are some things I know is bad, but I just enjoy. But most of the time, I just analyze things and I can appreciate them. I feel like with One Piece, there's a lot that I really like and is done really well from a storytelling like perspective, like from a storyteller's view, like a critical view, and like looking at all the elements, the characters, whatever. All to say is that so far, as someone from the perspective of someone who reads it like 100%, like, I'm like wording this up more than I have to.
Okay.
Basically, all to say is I'm not hooked yet.
Yep.
I'm reading this. I'm only
fair.
reading this still because it's One Piece. I wouldn't be reading it as frequently as I would be if it wasn't One Piece. And I wouldn't say that I would have dropped it, but I probably wouldn't have picked it up in like years from now if I knew, So should I be worried, or should you be worried if I'm not hooked?
Why would I be worried?
Well, because you got hooked
It's
like
not-
way before
it's not,
then.
It's not for everyone. Like I understand.
I'm
that,
worried that
but I think that there are specific arcs that you need to look forward to, because you haven't even touched my favorite arcs yet. I think there is an argument to say that Alabasta is the best arc. I don't think that that's true. I do think it is top 5, but I mean, until you get to Water 7, Marine Ford. I know these words mean nothing to you.
I've heard of them.
Until you get to Water 7, Marine Ford, Impel Down, which is my favorite. Wano, Dressrosa.
Wano's so far, but
Wano is so far.
Is there a point? You know me, and some idea based on all the things you heard of my thoughts on One Piece and my taste in anime and manga. Is there a point to where, not definite 100%, but really close to? Is there a point in One Piece to where if you don't get hooked on here, I'll be I don't know what to say.
If you make it to the time skip, and you're like, don't read forward. That's my advice to all of you. You have to, because we're doing content.
Yeah,
for
I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna catch up, and I'll read all the way through. But I'm just worried, in terms of like, I would never read 200 plus chapters if I'm not enjoying it. I mean, I am enjoying it. I just like, you know what I mean?
No, I get you.
Some people
I
are
get
gonna
you.
jump on me because I got into My Hero off the beat.
No, it's fine. And sometimes you get off into the beat in the first, episode. One Piece, I was interested. I was very interested, and I knew I was going to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was interested throughout the first 100 chapters. But the thing that really hooked me was the Zoro fight versus the 100 assassins. And that's the moment when I started reading. However, Impel Down is when I was reading 100 chapters a night. Like I was
It's when I had no life.
basically, no cap, I was reading it like just nonstop, and it was a page turner. It's been a while since I read Vinland Saga that I had that page turner since One Piece, and I haven't had it now since reading Vagabond.
Yeah.
But it is like like get through Water 7 first, and when you get past Water 7, that's when I'm getting a little bit concerned.
Alrighty.
Mhm.
Yeah. I just say that because like I want to get into it,
Yeah.
and I'm not setting so high expectations because I've heard all the things that you're mentioning, and I have some idea as to like what I'll be expecting in terms of tone and themes, like
Yeah.
what it'll do for the characters. So I want to know what will happen to get there, or
Yeah.
what it'll be like or
There,
feel like when I get
there
there.
are a couple arcs where the story takes a little bit of a turn, and I think that that's when it's going to hook you. I think you will be hooked when the Saboti arc starts.
I don't know
That's
what
when
that
I
means.
think. I know you don't know what these words mean.
Well,
but,
I've heard of Water 7 in Mainford and Wano. I just
Yeah.
never heard of what you just said right now.
Yeah.
But I do know
let's see,
the things.
let's see
that-
what you think about Water 7 and Marineford,
Alrighty.
and then we'll talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess if I'm gonna rank these arcs
Mhm.
within the saga, the Alabasta saga,
Yeah.
from
I'll do
least
it
to
too.
greatest. Do you want me to go least to greatest?
Yeah, least to greatest, of course.
Little Garden.
Little Garden's the worst. Okay.
Well, not worst, but of the bunch, I guess my least favorite.
yeah.
I don't want to say worst. It isn't bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
Little Garden.
Yeah.
Reverse Mountain.
Reverse Mountain.
So we have. So what we have left? We
We
have
have Whiskey Peak, Drum, and Alabasta.
Whiskey Peak might tie with Little Drum,
Drum.
but I think Little Drum had just the most emotional moment with Chopper. But I enjoyed the action a lot more in Whiskey Peak, especially with Zoro's
yeah.
fight and then his fight with Luffy versus Luffy. As much as
The comedy in that arc is just
It's
so
funny, too.
It's so good.
Whiskey
yeah.
Peak probably I'm gonna say okay, fine. Little Garden, Reverse Mountain, Drum Island, just
Mhm.
by a hair down, because Whiskey Peak just by a smidge is a bit better because I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
But the emotional highs were way stronger in Little Drum.
yeah.
So I just
yeah,
want to say that. So just to reiterate, Little Garden,
Yeah.
Reverse Mountain,
Yeah.
Drum Island, right, and
Yes.
Whiskey Peak.
And Whiskey Peak.
And obviously, Alabasta
Mhm.
is the best one. That's what it's named after, because it has
Yeah.
it's like
It's all
Crocodile
leading
is
to
the
Alabasta,
better
yeah.
villain. It has the better fights,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And I love Vivi as a character. How much her love for this like nation and her passion
Yeah.
and the conflicts that are like set up.
Mhm.
Great world building, more devil fruits that we get to see.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
see Smoker once again. It's just fantastic, and I love when Luffy just punches stupid, smug, arrogant villains that think no one can touch me, no one
Right.
can do this and that. I'm the boosh. When Luffy hits that
Yeah.
first punch, that's when like I love moments like that, and Alabasta has been the best version of that so far.
Definitely.
So I
definitely.
really like that. I really like this. I'm liking One Piece, so don't get confused. I'm not sitting there passively reading like, oh, this is the
Yes.
most boring.
What
crap
he's talking
ever.
about is he's talking about like, are you staying up late at night, waiting to read that next chapter?
Yeah.
That's what being hooked means. And
Yeah.
every manga, you don't have to read it if you're hooked. I read Fire Force. I wasn't hooked. Like I read the entire thing and I wasn't hooked. I love the story. I love it. It's a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. But it wasn't hooked. Like you can be hooked on things that are not good. Also,
I mean, you don't have to get hooked on
Yeah.
everything. I just feel like to fully, I mean, like in saying pure enjoyment, like
Yeah.
like it's a weird concept to grasp. Like some of you just might be completely confused. Some of you might get it. Some of you might just be saying, "Oh, well, you're probably just talking about what you feel like with your favorites." It's kind of like that, but it's kind of not. I don't know. It has to be like I guess enough to buy the manga as like the best way to
Yeah.
describe that.
And if you look up, I got like
Because-
like 30 of them.
Yeah, like I feel like I want to buy the One Piece volume, but like I'm not getting into it that much, so I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't buy it. So that's
Definitely.
where I'm at right now. So yeah, it's a
Great.
good series. I haven't really given numerical values to these sagas or arcs. I'll probably wait to as we said for the end to really compare
We're gonna
everything.
when you finish, we're gonna milk all that stuff.
Um,
Can I give my rankings?
yeah,
just real
go
quick?
ahead.
I think my rankings go in the order of the arc. I just think the only thing that switched is the Whiskey Peak and Little Garden. no, I don't know. I think Reverse Mountain and Little Garden is pretty much, like they're tied because they both do the same things. They're filler arcs to lead you to Alabasta, but also tease some things that are going to happen far, far, far down the line. Which I will not say, but it's good world building, those two arcs, but they're not, it doesn't have the emotional context of something like Drum Island, and I just think Whiskey Peak is just it's the arc that hooked me, so it has to be higher than the other two. So it's Reverse and Little Garden tied, and then Whiskey Peak, and then Drum, and then Alabasta. It's just Alabasta's high above all the others.
Who's your favorite standout character? I'll answer mine in a bit, but who's your standout character in this arc? It can be Luffy if you want.
In this arc?
Well, Saga. Saga, sorry.
In the Saga, I mean, it kind of... I don't know. I mean, Chopper does have a pretty big part to play when he comes in.
He gets introduced, yeah.
Yeah, because he gets introduced.
Well, I guess don't say pick one favorite, but who's your favorites from this entire saga? Because sometimes one doesn't has nothing to do with one arc as the other.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I think Crocodile is the best villain in the series so far.
Really?
And I think he's.
I'm gonna drop it right now because that's. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Not so far. I mean, so far in the series.
Okay. I was like,
no.
I was gonna be like, bro, are you kidding me?
There is an argument for him to be the best villain, but he's not. I don't think he is. And there are so many other villains that people like. Like I know
Doflamingo.
Doflamingo is my favorite.
Yeah.
And you know that. But I think. I don't know. I think that there can be, it could be Vivi because this is basically
really like
her
Vivi.
saga.
She's like, I really like her.
This is her saga, But if I had to say somebody who just brought I don't want to say diversity, but brought, just a different look to the Straw Hats, I would say Chopper.
Wow, you're just gonna throw diversity. Oh, he just adds by diversity. He's not. I'm
yeah.
tired of the white humans. I want a reindeer.
Where's the reindeer?
Yeah. Where's the reindeer representation?
And if it's not, it's Luffy because he's just There's a argument for Sanji, but he does,
Sanji and Usopp are super underutilized. Not in a bad way, but they're just
Zoro's underutilized in this saga as well. I just think
I just feel like he stands out.
He
stands out, he just stands out so much that it just brings out to life.
He does, but also what happens in the Little Garden? He gets trapped. What happens in I don't even know what he does.
But he hacks off his own leg. In Little Garden,
almost does.
But he's like telling the giant, I'm gonna hack off my own leg so we can fight. You should you want to fight? I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
I'll join you if you're willing to fight.
Of course. And Sanji's just gone. I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying. Even when Zoro has nothing to do in those small moments, he stands out more than Sanji does.
And I don't think
what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't think Usopp is a real
He just made me mad in this saga.
Yeah,
especially with Nami's weapon that he built for her, and I get it. I get it's supposed to be funny, but it just kind of pissed me off. Are you kidding me?
And I think Oda kind of grabbed a hold of that, but you'll see later on.
My favorites are Luffy, Vivi, and Crocodile.
Yeah, Crocodile.
They're
definitely.
they're just so great. Robin is a small, not Robin. Robin's a small Yeah, she's up there because she's really I
don't think we even talked about.
We
her
did.
Joining.
We just kept we've mentioned it. We just kept referring to her over and over again. As all Sunday.
She joins at
the very end.
She joins at the very end, but she joins in a very unorthodox kind of
She's
way.
Like, hey guys, what are you doing? It's like, oh yeah, I just joined you. No, you didn't. I liked it.
And in the anime, there's this version. I need to show you the scene where I don't know if it's in the manga, but in the anime, Zoro's like, everybody just immediately trusts Robin, and Zoro's like, we can't trust her, and Usopp's like, you're right, my man, and Zoro's like, it's just us, and then Luffy's like, hey Usopp, and Usopp's like, yo, what's up, and he has Robin's hands thing.
I took a picture of that.
Yeah, and he's like,
thought that was
Chopper!
So funny.
Yeah, and it's so funny.
Monkey D. Chopper.
Yeah, Monkey D.
Chopper D. Lubber.
Yeah, it's so funny.
His face is.
But even Robin, I think Oda has never stated this. I think Vivi was supposed to be a Straw Hat. I think she was. I think she was designed to be a Straw Hat. But I think the reason why he switched.
Yeah, you
substituted
mentioned
her
it because they look too much alike.
because her and Nami look
Yeah.
so similar.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
You know, and I think Robin also brings a different energy to it because she is so mysterious. She's like Nami times 10, right? Because we're like, because Nami we knew had some schemy stuff, but we don't know anything about.
Yeah,
Robin
she
at
holds
this
her cards.
point.
She holds her cards
Mhm.
closer to her chest than Nami
Yeah.
does. And Vivi had a kingdom to rule, so it was a nice
Yeah.
moment in her arc to take up that mantle. And
Yeah.
It also works out well for
Yeah, and
Vivi in the end.
the only thing that we know is that she's interested in those pawn glyphs. But we'll
Yeah,
see what
Robin,
happens. Yeah, that's it.
She's a history
She's a history
artifact.
nerd. Yeah,
She's a history nerd, right? Yeah,
she's
basically.
she's a history buff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Like I think every addition to the Straw Hats has just been so like I don't want to use the word perfect, but it's like I'm not like hasn't been a Straw Hat that's joined and I'm like, ew, what? Get out. You know, like what are you doing here? I just think it's so brilliant the way Oda knows who like what
they'll be adding.
Yeah,
and,
what the
like,
puzzle how it fits. It's just like I'm just like, how does he do it?
Yeah.
You know, because the Straw Hats were already clicking so well. You add Chopper.
No more.
you
No
know?
more. This is perfect. Adds one more. Well, I guess.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess. Yeah, why not,
why
you
not?
know?
They're not bad. Like,
Yeah, and he continues to add more, but that's
Yeah.
and it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
we
Better Saga than Romance Dawn or East Blue.
That's tough. Maybe by a little bit.
By a
I
little
can't
bit, yeah.
say. I might, in order for that to happen, I have to kind of revisit East Blue, not
Mhm.
reread it, but just like see on it again. I feel like
Yeah.
still my favorite moment from this series so far is still the Luffy putting on his hat on Nami and then agreeing to fight.
Not the Mihawk fight.
That's my favorite fight, but I meant
Okay.
moment, like in general. Like,
okay.
well, that is my favorite moment, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The moment where I'm like, God, that's
Yeah.
good.
There
is when he like puts the hat on.
There
Nami.
is. I cannot wait till you get to my favorite moment. It's not even like it's one of my least favorite arcs too. But there is a panel where if anybody goes, "Why do you want to draw manga? Why are you so interested in writing and drawing manga?" I show them this panel and I go, "Look at this panel. Like this tells an absolute."
Can't you see this masterpiece in front of you? Like,
an absolute story. Like it just it alone is a story, and I want to do just a whole video on that whole arc. Yeah,
yeah, I think our pizza's here.
you think so?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty much it, guys.
Pizza!
That was fun. We'll be back on the next saga. This one's not so long. The Skypea. What do you call it?
Skypea, yeah.
Skypea. We'll be back
Fairly soon, right? You're
Yeah, I'm almost
finished?
done.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, great.
but it'll be posted a few weeks later
yeah.
for you
You
guys.
sign
at
out. I'm
least.
gonna go get the pizza.
All right. All right. So yeah, I guess it's just my job to do a final announcement. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking around this long. It was a bit of a long episode. Again, I do apologize, but I wanted to fit this saga on one, track or video, however you want to call it. As Ben mentioned, he's probably not going to include this part in the YouTube clip videos, but if you're listening on the regular podcast episode or, on the other podcast apps, Ben will be editing each arc that we just, reviewed, in depth separately, spread out over time. They'll be conjoined with visuals and a bunch of other stuff. They're really fun, and Ben's getting, really better at it, as he said before. So go check this out. Subscribe to, stay updated with those. But regardless, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with some more content, and I'll keep on reading One Piece, and hopefully I catch up and, like it at some point. I do like it, but, hopefully I'll get to the same level as Ben. I guess this is a good time as any to make this kind of small official announcement. As Ben mentioned, a podcast episode or two ago, he mentioned that he was working on something and that he put out his first one-shot. What is a one-shot? A one-shot is basically a small, very short story that is put into manga form. Basically like a manga, but you only goes for a few pages. Some can go up to 75, some can go up to 10. Ben worked on it. Ben has been working months on this, and this is his first work. And I know he mentioned it before, but it was kind of like abrupt because it was like, oh yeah, I finished it, and then he mentioned like, oh yeah, go check it out, which is great if you have already. But this is the official like first one, I guess, like to go check it out. Like we'll be putting links in the description again, if not already. But I'm saying this because we're storytellers. We want to write and tell stories. We love talking about manga and anime, and one day we want to be, up there doing that eventually. And all this to say is that I also have a big announcement. I have finished my first web novel chapter. Yeah, remember all those episodes ago when Ben brought up that contest, to get published? I'm aiming for that, but in the end, I'm so happy that I was able to publish my first chapter, and I really want you guys to check it out as much as I want you guys to check out Ben's one shot if you haven't already. Both links will be in the description, whether YouTube or on Spotify or iTunes. They should be in the description of the of the episode, and go click on those, check it out, give it a read, and give it a like or support. I don't know how Ben's works. I think it's its own separate website, but on mine, where I published my first two chapters, you could comment, leave a like, sign into Honeyfeed to stay updated whenever the new chapters come out. It's great. I really, really, really am so proud of the both of us for taking these first few steps into this big journey that we want to go in. And if it sucks, who cares? Because we enjoyed this every step of the way, and we want to keep doing more, and we want to improve because we know we're not there yet. But the fact that we did it is it's fantastic. So I don't mean to toot our own horns, but this is like a dream. We loved doing this, and we really want everyone just get their hands on it or eyeballs on it. However to support us. The fact that someone watches it or reads it, it's enough for us, and that's all that matters. And we're going to keep putting out more stuff. Ben is working on another one-shot. I'm publishing out more chapters for that story, sporadically for the next coming 2.5 or so weeks. Yeah, but please go check this out. Thank you so much for, being with us all this time. Like I said, next episode, we'll go into much more heavy detail what our process was with that, and talking about our stories, what exactly they're about, just giving small synopsises, because I feel like, once again, it kind of just happened. Enough so that I needed to add it, last minute here. But regardless, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.